Live streaming is on.
Okay, seems to be up again. Perfect. Okay, I hope everyone is joining the live stream on YouTube who was there before. We had about 30 people. I hope it's going back to that number. But we are starting here with the next presentation of Dr. Volla.
Yeah, hello, I'm back again. And for the beginning of the afternoon, we want to present very helpful stuff for everyday use. I will start with a walkthrough of the Volla OS. So maybe most of them already know the user experience. For some, it might be new, and even for further people that will find some new hints for the everyday use. So if you unlock the device, you will see the so-called Springboard oder Sprungbrett, wie wir auf Deutsch sagen. And the idea is that you need to open any app to do frequently used activities. And we have here the shortcut menu that I also will talk about this. And you have that text field, type anything. And the idea is that you start typing and the system anticipates what you would like to do. The user interface of the Volla OS is in German for sure and English, and translated in all the languages of the backers that have supported our Kickstarter project. That is, for instance, Finnish, Dutch, Romanian, Slovakian, and some other, and French, and so some other languages. And I type in an @ symbol. I think maybe we make it in the future more smart, so that the Springboard identifies names automatically. The idea is that the Springboard suggests here, if I type in that symbol, names of my address book, so the system address book. So contacts that are available for all apps as soon as they have granted access to your system contact address book. And if you start typing on L, for example, then the names are filtered, as you might expect. And then you tap on one suggestion, and the system immediately identifies that you might want to call that person. Pretty easy. So you can tap on call, and you would trigger a call. So this is our new test device. So I have to confirm once that I want to use that dialer app. Okay, that's it. So I interrupt here. So I can make any call from right from the Springboard. And if you would like to do something else, you can type starting. So, and now the Springboard assumes that you want to send that person a message, and it suggests to send an email message or a short message. So now I just send a short message, and I just need to type on the suggested activity, and you get a notification that the message is sent successfully. Another option is to send someone an email. And I can just have a small tip for you. If you make a line break, then it uses the first word or group of words before the line break as a subject of the email. And if you send email here, then the email client is opened to send the email. And then you also can for sure type any number, and the system assumes that you would like to call someone. Just type in some figures, some numbers, and so the phone assumes that this is a number. So what we might add in the future is a kind of validation, whether the number is valid or not. You can prove the syntax, for instance. So here I just have, we just have here the suggestion to call. And if I add now some words, it suggests to send a message. It doesn't suggest anymore to send an email because the system only knows the typed in number. What we can do in the future is that we match that typed in number with any number in your contact book. But I think the use case is very rare. If you type in a number, you usually have that person not in your address book. So that's a way to use that springboard to send messages or communicate with other people. So what I think if you use it in your daily life, you will have some ideas what we could either do with the springboard. For instance, you could integrate further messaging channels. You could send your WhatsApp message or your Telegram message right from the springboard, or Signal message. So that's indeed what we would like to implement, dependent on the requirement you have. Most people are asking for Signal or Threema. Threema might be a challenge to read the messages. So that's using a springboard in daily life. You can also use some syntax, an email, a web address. So the springboard realizes that you have typed in an email, a web address, and suggests to open that address in the browser, and then you will open the browser here. So I think it was not connected to the web right now. Let's see. Yeah, now it's connected to the web. And you can also type in some words. And it suggests to search in the web or to create a node. So if you just type in only one word or just, I have a typo here. For sure, Volla phone. So, and if there are only two tokens or only one keyword, then the springboard suggests to search in the web. I think this is very useful if you would like to know something and you would like to search in the web, and then you can tap here and it starts searching using DuckDuckGo as a search engine that protects your privacy. So you may know that there are two search engines with a similar approach. One is DuckDuckGo that is using the Bing index to anonymize the search requests, and the second company is also StartPage that is using the Google index with a similar approach. Oh, the screen is off. It was in this sleep mode, I think. It's in the my screen was in the sleep mode. I'm sorry. My MacBook is tired, and maybe soon retired. I need something new, maybe. So and one is also useful. What I use if I have some ideas, or I would like to take a note. I frequently use also the option to take a note with the Volla phone. So you can type in any long text. So it's also an idea to have some automatic formatting in the future. So you have a more richer capabilities to enter notes, like bullet points or something that you are usually using. And as I said this morning, our idea is to integrate also calling the nodes right from the Volla launcher. Now you can just create a node, and the node is stored, and you find the node for people who don't know it yet in the document folder. So in the document folder you find a txt file. So with the date of the node, it could also be a good idea to use the first line as a headline and the name of the node. Like some node processing software with Markdown. So when you type in on the node, and you have the option to use the Notes app to read this node. And here it is. So, and in the Node app, you can read your nodes, and for sure you can edit the nodes that you have made by the Volla phone. So this is the feature, how it is currently implemented. I think there's a lot of ways to improve it, but it's already quite useful in my daily life. So that was the Springboard. You can call people, you can send messages, you can search in the web, you can call websites, web pages, and also make notes. And I think you have already ideas if you see it and if you use it. What can we do next? The idea is that you create calendar events, for instance, or some reminders that are parsed right on the Springboard. Then we have next, what I would like to tell you is the red dot. I think this is a very useful feature that you just, the idea is tap, drag, release. Tippen, bewegen, loslassen. And that's a very one gesture to call frequently used features. Like you can use show agenda. This is your calendar that is shown. This is quite often a day or in the morning. I just with one gesture, I open the calendar, my agenda. I usually use a different way to show it. I prefer the simple event list. On the test device, I have no further events right here. But for me, it's nice to see in a simple list what's next in my daily life. So I use from the calendar the list view. So other shortcuts is the dialer. So the dialer, also the fresh test device here, with Volla OS 10, by the way. So maybe you have seen that it's a complete dark mode if I swipe down. So that's one feature of the Volla OS 10 with an Android 10 base. So the idea of showing the dialer is if you would like to call a number. So if you would like to type something in, and this is the fantasy number, just and it's an easy way to just use the core feature of a phone with one gesture. I'm the opinion that in a smartphone the dialer should be available with one simple gesture. Okay, and then, for example, you have the gallery. This is photos and for sure camera. This is, yeah, also something that should be available very, very convenient. And there are also some further bullet points. It's recent people, recent threads, and recent nodes. And this is about the third pillar of the 3 pillars of our user experience that we have introduced. Before I talk about that, if you swipe to the right, you see the classical app grid. I'm aware that people need a mixed approach so that they still use some apps. And here you have the apps with very nice icons in a grid. So this is a classical way you use a smartphone. This is possible, and you can also type in the search field at the top to filter the apps, and this is very useful if you have some more apps along the list of apps. We think that we will offer some grouping or at least hiding apps so that you have the top of most frequent used apps visible and some others hidden, so it's more clean up and more minimalistic, so you can breathe and you have your mind free. If you swipe to the left again, I need to have a look at the time. You have the settings that you may be aware. So you have here also the shortcuts, and you can switch off and on the shortcuts that you would like to see on the so maybe I decide to have not the gallery, but I want to create events right from the springboard. And so here it is. And then you can see here create an event. And so the form is shown to enter an event. So maybe this is one way to simplify that frequent task, I think. So then we have, this is the third pillar, the so-called collections, Sammlungen in Deutsch. And there are 3 of them. First are the recent people. So the recent people, there's some confusion about it by our users. So they are the people, not all contacts of your address book. The idea is that here you find the most important people, the one that you have marked as a favorite in your contact app, or the contacts you have been called or exchanged messages with. So this is automatically grouped. It's my favorite feature because I synchronize my smartphone, my Volla phone, with my online address book of the company, and it's more than 2,500 contacts. And you can imagine it makes sense to have just a couple of contact that I really use in daily life. I can show it here in the contact app. So here the Linda Sommer is marked as a favorite. You can see it with a star. And George Benson is not marked as a favorite, but the contact appeared in the list because I exchanged messages with him. They're all fake addresses. And so let's put, thank you. Here it is. So, and I put this star, I star this, and hopefully if I go to the list, yeah, well, here it is. And if you tap on one contact, you see the exchanged messages, but also exchange calls. So if you have called someone, then it appears either. You can see it here. Here was a call 7 minutes ago, and I received a message from Linda Sommer. And there's also one hidden feature that might be very interesting, and some people don't know yet. If you long press, then the menu is open, and depending how the contact is defined, you can call the contact, or you can send a message right by releasing your finger. And here we have Linda Sommer, and here I have the email, and I can call and have a short message. So that's very useful, and I use it in my daily life. The second group is the so-called threads. In German, we say Unterhaltungen. That are the exchanged messages. For now, we have SNS and MMS that is displayed here, very nice and very clear. I like that typography. Also, our special typography, by the way, is now system-wide available and visible in Volla OS 10. Very nice. It's a small detail, but small details make a difference. It looks pretty nice if we have see that different font on the Volla phone 10. You can imagine, I think our plan is to add further channels so you have everything together when you have stood in contact with your friends, family, or colleagues. So that's about threads. And the third thing are about news. So I realized that in Twitter, for instance, you have a timeline. And the most interesting, I'm missing usually the most interesting post, because the most interesting posts are from people that are publishing the news very rarely. So, and the idea here in that collection is to group the news by source. So you see for each source, there's a recent post. So for instance, NZZ, Neue Zürcher Zeitung. Und here, what's very nice is this readability mode. So with a crisp font where it's easy to read the font. If you type on the symbol of the source, for instance, for the Guardian here, this is an English source as an example, then you get the whole feed. Currently, we only support RSS feeds, not Atom, but hopefully, so no doubt, we are continuously developing that user interface. And we just started with RSS because it was the most simple way. And if you tap on one news, you see also it here. Okay, so, and how can you manage the sources? Quite easy, again, in the settings, you can switch off and on, but also you can delete with a small cross, for instance, our suggested feeds. And you can also add another feed. Let me see, I made some. No, you can, let me see, search something. And now I show you how you can add a feed. So you have two options to add a feed. One option is to post the feed link into the Springboard. So I just copy the link and I add the link in the pasteboard, and now the system says, should I add it to the Springboard? I don't do that right now because I would like to show you another way.
Ach, jetzt?
Now press the link.
Oh Mann, ich habe jetzt 5-mal angerufen.
And share the link with the Volla app. So I do so, and now the now here was for any reasons an error message. Then the feed is added to your feed list. So two options: sharing the link from the browser and adding the link by the Springboard. So that's it. Let me have a look on my.
We also do have questions.
Yeah, one more thing. What some people don't know is in the settings you have, this is also touch, drag and release, and you can change the theme. So you can change the theme to a transparent mode, or for light days, the very nice light mode. Okay, so thank you very much. That was a walkthrough of the Volla user experience, and now I'm happy for a question.
Yeah, we do have two questions in our YouTube channel. The first one, is it possible to start apps with a Springboard?
It's a good idea, not yet. So it's not the first time that I heard that recommendation. Indeed, yeah, it's a good idea.
It would also be great just to customize like the red dot. If I say I want to have an app connection, like a shortcut inside of this, so I just touch and drag until I see my app and release, and it opens.
Yeah, and this is also one challenge of the hackathon. Maybe we can ask later who is working in the hackathon. That was one challenge, to propose an approach how we can make the red dot dynamic and integrate maybe some in a kind of mechanism further action that I can include similar to the feed that I can now define freely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second question, now that Volla OS has moved to Android 10, will there be more time to work on the mentioned features like integrations of other messengers?
Yeah, sure. I think we have. I also apologize that our team is such small. So we have been in the first half of the year very busy to set up the company with the processes, and now we have more time for the Volla launcher. And yeah, we have one developer on board who is more focused on the app development. And so I'm optimistic that we make progress here.
Yeah. And as you all might see, I mean, I started working for the Volla team with the beginning of May. The company gets bigger. The chances of the next Volla phones, and you see also the next Volla phone. You saw it this morning already. So the force that is pushing everything further is getting bigger and bigger. So I will for sure there will be so many more opportunities inside of Volla OS.
And if you have the abilities, please have a look at the published code of that what you've seen on GitHub. And we need not only developers. So if you have a foreign language that we don't cover yet, so you are welcome to deliver the translation, and even also maybe you review the translation for Finnish or Spanish, because the user interface is expanded and some translations are missing. So also that help is welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so if anyone inside of our conference has a question, you can also raise your hand if you like. Wenn irgendjemand Fragen hat, kann gerne die Hand heben. Gibt es so eine kleine Hand unten? There's a small hand down of the Spanish needed seriously?
Yeah, we have a Spanish users not only in Europe but also in South America.
Well, Spanish is a language that happens quite often.
Yeah.
That's Spanish, Portuguese, English, and some other.
Not so often than Finnish, but we have it also. And Swedish we have, for example. So, but some languages are missing.
Yeah.
Schweizerdeutsch.
Schweizerdeutsch would be, or Luxembourgish.
Yeah.
Luxembourgish would be a nice one. Okay, any more questions? Noch irgendwelche Fragen?
So otherwise, we have some times for questions and answers. This we implemented this user interface with a cross-platform technology. Who is interested in that? So because we have in mind porting that app to the Ubuntu Touch. Maybe some more thing that people don't know. So if you have the Contacts app, we are often asked for that kind of details if people start working with the Volla phone. The Contacts app is reading the contacts on your SMS, so on your SIM card. So if you have contacts on your SIM card, that they are shown in the in this Contacts app. If you don't have your own contact server and you don't want to synchronize the contacts, we have a synchronized app. This is DAVX, and DAVX is using CalDAV and CardDAV that is supported by the most service providers. So you can integrate your iCloud if you have, even it's possible for Microsoft products, your own cloud or other service provider. This is a very open standard that is frequently used to synchronize contacts, to-dos, and calendar events. And if you don't have that, you can export your contacts in your contact app on Linux, Outlook, or your Mac, and import the contacts with your in this VCF file, VCF. That is the Y card standard. It's a common standard to exchange contacts, and you can also export your contacts you have typed in to make an update. Also very useful. So I recommend that. By the way, that some people don't know, we have a help page on our homepage for for frequently asked questions. We have a short description how you move your contacts. So that is, and in the calendar app, you can integrate your Y calendar. So let me have a look at we have some. By the way, people that are using the Volla OS 9, so if you do a factory reset for any reasons, or you flashed your device with Volla OS 9, just one hint that you need to set up the permissions of the apps, in particular the permissions of the Volla app. You find them in the settings and here in apps and notifications. This is not necessary anymore for Volla OS 10, so we found a solution. So if you start the Volla OS for the first time, everything is set up properly for the first time, or if you do a factory reset. This is just a hint for people that have problems. And yeah, maybe some further tips that I've mentioned. We have the F-Droid store. In F-Droid, you can update your system apps. Who doesn't know, you just swipe down a little bit and then the information about the available apps and updates are updated in F-Droid, and then you see in the list of the alarm clock, oh yeah, there are some new apps, and then you can do here an update. I also very like this Volla, this Aurora store. So if I have now access to the internet, and then the Aurora store is loaded, I recommend to do this anonymously. I think most of our users will do it, but you can also log in with your Google account. You can have even some more settings. You can fake your identity of your phone here if you look to be very sure. And one interesting feature is beyond the reviews for the apps, or you find a privacy hints. And for sure here in WhatsApp you have tracker, and you can decide on your own whether you are want to use that tracking. Here it's Google Analytics. There are some apps that have 12 trackers or so. That's I've seen that. So and it's on yours to decide. Yeah, well, maybe one hint for this is for Hide Me. Also some questions, frequently asked questions is, yes, you have a voucher that you can use that comes with the Volla phone, and with that voucher you can have a paid account for 1 month free. But afterwards you can decide if you continue that paid account. It doesn't cost much, but you can also continue with a free account, because the owner of the company says everyone in the world should have the ability to have that to protect his or her privacy, even if he or she can't afford it. But this service is possible by the paid accounts. The difference is that for the paid accounts, you can use that account for up to 10 devices, also with your desktop PC or for the whole family, and more than 10 gigabytes. This is just, but this is anyway, this is optional. We don't want to teach the people or force to do something. So if you can do anything with the phone, what you want. So as soon we ship the device, the device is disconnected. We don't know which person has that specific device. Yeah, well, that are also some important hints. Maybe something If you open an app the first time, you are asked to choose the default one. We are using the, you may have seen that there are 2 phone apps on the device, because we would like to offer people a choice, to give them a choice, an option. This simple phone app that we prefer is very clean, very minimalistic. I love this because I'm a minimalist. But you can also choose the other phone app that has some more options to do forwarding of phone calls and things like that. At any time, you can manage the default apps in your settings, and you can switch also the default phone app. So that are some daily hints. Maybe you also know that you swipe down for the messages. Also, if you're making a phone call and you would, while you have a phone call, you would like to look at the internet or doing something and make a note, you can then again swipe down and see the running phone call. That's maybe what you already know. So that are some hints. So thank you very much. Now I'm for this patience. Feel free to ask us to write a message in the forum, in our Telegram chat, or if you have some further questions, directly to our support at volla.online or in the support form on our homepage. And we have that help page with frequently asked questions. We hope that we can extend some tips more and more. And we have the download page where you find also the manuals in all different languages. It's also an interesting hint. Now I'm very happy to announce Thomas Gruger, the head of our support. Most of you know him very well. He's patiently answering your questions. But by the way, I don't want to forget the 2 moderators of the forum, Jörg and Schmuel. So that are the nicknames in the Telegram channel. Thank you very much for an awesome job. I wouldn't have the time to have a look at all their channels. So, Mr. Gruger, thank you very much that you are online. Thank you very much for great work. And now we are waiting for your tips for security.
Thank you very much, Dr. Watzer. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Thomas Gruger. I am 59 years old, and I'm the head of the customer solution. Wait a second, little technical problem. Yeah, better.
So the connection is lagging.
Pardon me?
The connection was quite bad, so I heard some audio drops.
Okay.
I guess now it's better. There's another microphone right now.
Okay. Ich werde den Vortrag in Deutsch heute halten. Moment. Sekunde. So, ich hoffe, man hört mich. Hallo?
Yeah. we hear you.
Okay. Gut, ich mache ein bisschen lauter. Ja, also, Entschuldigung, dass es ein bisschen gedauert hat. Nochmal, ich bin der Thomas Gruger, 59 Jahre alt und für das Thema Customer Support bei der Hallo Welt Systeme beschäftigt und möchte in der knappen Dreiviertelstunde, wir wollen den Zeitplan ja halten, etwas erzählen über Alltagstipps für die Sicherheit und Schutz der Privatsphäre. Wir werden dazu einen flankierenden Vortrag noch hören zum Thema Passwörter und Phishing mit Live-Demos. Das wird dann der Herr Professor Dr. Asmuth der Ostbayerischen Technischen Hochschule in Amberg dann noch zum Besten geben. Wenn es Fragen gibt, währenddessen bitte im Chat stellen. Meine Kollegen gehen da ganz bestimmt gerne drauf ein. Es ist jede Menge Text, ich will das aber auch nicht vorlesen, sondern ein paar Topics einfach nur mal beleuchten, etwas zum Nachdenken anregen, denn allzu oft wird heutzutage das Smartphone relativ selbstverständlich benutzt, um jetzt im klassischen Falle mit dem geliebten WhatsApp zu hantieren, aber auch natürlich andere Messenger zu benutzen, sich in Facebook im Internet eben zu bewegen. Und oft kommt es vor, dass die Geräte einfach unzureichend oder bisweilen gar nicht gesichert sind. Das heißt also, mit etwas Engagement kann man ohne weiteres dann solche ungesicherten Geräte übernehmen. Und ich möchte einfach den einen oder anderen Aspekt mal beleuchten, um da aufzuzeigen, wo man sein Smartphone mit einfachen Mitteln sicherer machen kann. Es gibt einfach eine ganz kleine Regel, indem man nämlich einfach sich verinnerlicht, dass es da einen Basisschutz gibt, den man relativ leicht auch realisieren kann. Angefangen vom Betriebssystem. Man denkt bitte mal an das Volla OS, an das Ubuntu Touch. Da werden ja allenthalben Updates angeboten. Beim Volla OS kommt da einiges auf uns zu im positiven Sinne. Das soll man dann auch machen und nicht aussitzen. Von wegen, schon wieder so ein Update. Nein, bei uns wird es ja angeboten, sodass der Anwender immer dann den Update ja laufen lassen kann, wenn es ihm in den Kram passt, sage ich jetzt mal populär. Und nicht wie sonst man es vielleicht links oder rechts kennt, dass Updates einfach so über den Anwender jetzt hereinfallen und der Anwender dann mit seinem Smartphone erstmal gar nichts anfangen kann. Das machen wir nicht, sondern bei uns steht ja auch natürlich der Kunde im Mittelpunkt und der Kunde soll entscheiden, der Anwender soll entscheiden, wann das eben passt. Das Betriebssystem ist zu aktualisieren natürlich. Gleichwohl gibt es immer wieder auch bei den Betriebssystemen, bei den Applikationen Verbesserungen. Ich erinnere da zum Beispiel an die Aurora-App, wo es etwas gerumpelt hat, sage ich mal, von der Version 3 zur Version 4. Und das sind so die Effekte, aber im Regelfall werden ja auch da die Aktualisierung angeboten und diese sollte man dann bitte auch in Angriff nehmen. Was ich immer wieder erlebt habe in meiner langen Vergangenheit im IT-Bereich ist, dass die Leute, weil es lästig ist, sämtliche Passwörter, Pins und sonstige Mechanismen einfach abschalten, weil es nervt. Ich kann das im Sinne des Menschen verstehen einerseits. Andererseits ist es aber sehr, sehr leichtsinnig. Und ich kann auch nur appellieren, das Vollafon macht es ja schön, zusammen mit Volla OS, aber gleichwohl auch mit dem Ubuntu Touch, dass man eben dort Mechanismen hat. Man kann sie auch ergänzen, wie beispielsweise jetzt bei der Biometrie, wo eben neben dem Fingerabdruck dann fallweise noch eine PIN bzw. ein Passwort dazukommt. Das ist nicht doppelt gemoppelt, sondern es ist einfach Sicherheit. Es ist eure Sicherheit. Es geht um eure Daten, um eure Identität. Ja. Das ist wie in der Schule. Ne? Ihr lernt nicht für die Schule, sondern eben für euch selbst. Und so muss man es apostrophieren, auch bei dem Smartphone. Generell, was ich nicht brauche, schalte ich aus. Nicht zuletzt, weil es beim Smartphone ein Stück weit auch an der Akkuleistung ja zehrt. Das heißt also, wenn ich nicht unbedingt jetzt Bluetooth oder WLAN und Ähnliches brauche, dann schalte ich es ab. Ja, und immer dann, wenn es notwendig ist, tue ich das Ganze. Bitte nicht vergessen, diese Schnittstellen wie zum Beispiel Bluetooth oder NFC haben nicht so unbedingt den Anspruch, jetzt eine sichere Datenübertragungsmethode darzustellen. Gerade deswegen sollte man also wirklich nur diese Übertragungsmedien oder Übertragungsmöglichkeiten vielmehr dann benutzen, wenn es erforderlich ist. Und es kommen dann noch die weiteren Punkte dazu. Ja, ich komme dann später nochmal etwas detaillierter dazu. Hotspots, ist immer ein gern genommenes Thema für Hacking-Angriffe, aber auch für sonstige Zeitgenossen, die nichts anderes zu tun haben, als andere Leute zu bestehlen im weitesten Sinne. Deswegen bei Hotspots bitte unbedingt der Vorsicht. Die Hotspots sind im Regelfall, wenn ich so denke jetzt an meine Heimatstadt, auf der Paradestraße sind alle offen. Natürlich ist es elegant, man kann sich schnell verbinden, das ist okay, aber bitte dann denken, die Datenübertragung findet erstmal ungesichert statt, fernab jeglicher Verschlüsselung. Und da gibt es natürlich Mechanismen. Nicht zuletzt deswegen liefern wir ja mit dem Volla-Phone, wie der Herr Dr. Wurzer ja vorhin schon ausgeführt hat, eben einen Voucher mit für unseren Kooperationspartner HideMe, um dessen VPN dann zu nutzen. Ein VPN ist in dem Fall beim Hotspot ein probates Mittel, um wirklich sicherzustellen, dass ab Smartphone bis zum Empfänger trotz Nutzung unsicherer Wege die Daten dorthin gelangen, wo sie hin sollen, nämlich zum Empfänger, und können auch da nicht unterwegs abgegriffen werden. Ich habe mir dann in der Vergangenheit in anderer Aufstellung immer wieder mal den Spaß gemacht, in der Mittagspause durch die heiligen Bürohallen zu laufen. Und habe dann schlicht und ergreifend die rumliegenden Handys kassiert. Ja. Gut, es war in der eigenen Abteilung und es war dann immer höchst spannend, wenn die Kollegen dann von der Mittagspause zurückkamen und teilweise laut schreiend durch die Hallen gerannt sind. Mein Smartphone ist geklaut und jetzt und so weiter. Gut, ich habe dann relativ schnell für Auflösung gesorgt. Aber was will ich damit sagen? Es kann allzu schnell passieren, ja. Man lässt sein Handy beispielsweise auf dem Tisch liegen, im Café, wie auch immer, oder im Restaurant, muss mal eben um die Ecke. Und dann liegen am Ende, wenn man zurückkommt, 2 da, nämlich gar keins mehr. Ja, also man muss leider mit allem rechnen, das ist nun mal so. Also da ist notwendige Vorsicht durchaus sinnvoll investiert, dass man das Gerät einfach mitnimmt oder einer wirklich vertrauenswürdigen Person vorübergehend übereignet und sagt, hier, pass mal bitte darauf auf, ich komme gleich wieder zurück. Ist ja eigentlich eine normale Sache, aber einfach so weglegen, man braucht sich nicht zu wundern, wenn die Biester dann weg sind. Oftmals vertraut man ja seinem Smartphone jede Menge Daten an. Ich will sogar so weit gehen, das ganze Leben, ich kenne also Leute, die sind im Prinzip ohne ihr Smartphone tot, also für tot zu erklären, weil sie haben ihre Daten nirgends anders. Gut, kann man so machen, muss man aber nicht. Jeder muss seine Daten so organisieren können, ja, dass er da eben auch noch anderweitig drauf zugreifen kann. Aber bitte, ich will da gar nicht reinreden, steht mir gar nicht zu, sondern will nur darauf hinweisen, dass man sich nicht jetzt nur zur Gänze im Allgemeinen jetzt elektronischen Systemen ausliefert, sondern immer irgendwo einen Rückweg auch hat. Die Datensicherung, wenn wir hier beim Punkt 8 gucken, wir kommen da später nochmal etwas genauer drauf, nur mal zum Überblick. Ja, die Datensicherung ist ein sehr ungeliebter Vorgang, weil man ihn an...
Frage, sorry Thomas, hast du eine Folie, die du zeigen wolltest? Weil wir sehen nichts.
Ja, was seht ihr im Moment?
Dein Screen, also dich selbst, die Kamera.
Okay.
Wir sehen keine Folie, ne? Der Dr. Wurz hatte gerade nachgefragt, weil...
Das tut mir leid. Ich habe eigentlich auf die Freigabe gedrückt, aber die hat nicht funktioniert. Das tut mir leid. Das hole ich sofort nach. Ich hoffe, dass das jetzt... Hallo? Und jetzt?
Jetzt sehen wir was, sehr gut.
Okay, Entschuldigung. Ich sehe leider nicht, was da rausgeht. Okay. Geben wir mal eins zu. Ne, da haben wir das wieder umgestellt. So, das ist rechts nach links Dokument. Ja, genau. Wo war ich? Hier war ich. Und ja, Daten sichern und die verschlüsseln ist ein Thema, da kommen wir gleich auch nochmal drauf. Was ich in den letzten Monaten häufig hatte, mich riefen dann irgendwelche Leute an, beziehungsweise Entschuldigung, das Telefon klingelte und die Rufnummer, die ich da zahle, kannte ich nicht. Also auch das ist so ein Spott, da will man dann Leute sprechen, von denen irgendwelche Informationen gewinnen. Ja, also man sollte da schon aufpassen, wen man da dann letztlich an die Strippe nimmt. Und zum guten Schluss, wenn es denn eben sein soll und das Smartphone eben den Besitzer wechselt, dann bitte unbedingt dafür Sorge tragen, SIM-Karte raus, SD-Karte raus, Daten löschen, auf Werkseinstellungen das Ganze bringen, ja, also wirklich das maximale einsetzen, dass da wirklich, wenn das Gerät weitergegeben wird, dann da keine persönlichen Sachen mehr drauf sind. Ich will nur mal ganz kurz darauf zu sprechen kommen. Basisschutz, habe ich schon erwähnt, da bitte eine Geräte-PIN setzen, ein Geräte-Passwort, auch bei der SIM. Ich erlebe das immer wieder mal, dass die Leute da die Abfrage nach der SIM-PIN deaktivieren, halte ich nicht für gut. Denn es wird ja am Anfang gefragt, nach der SIM-PIN. Beim Gerät sieht es schon anders aus. Wenn ich das Gerät schlafen schicke und dann wieder aufwecke, natürlich werde ich dann wieder nach der PIN bzw. nach dem Passwort gefragt. Und das ist auch gut so. Denn immer dran denken, das Telefon liegt irgendwo rum, man ist nicht am Platz. Ein Unbefugter nimmt sich das Teil, tippt drauf rum, sieht, aha, da komme ich elegant dahin. Ja, da können schon Sekunden, wenige Minuten genügen, ja, wo ich nicht da bin, ja, und derjenige hat dann mich da schon ausgespäht. Also unbedingt darauf achten. Wir haben ja in dem Volla OS neben dem Aurora Store ja auch den F-Droid Store. Dr. Wurzer hat es vorhin ja schon demonstriert. Daraus kann man ja eine Unmenge von Apps ja bekommen. Natürlich gibt es noch andere Möglichkeiten, eben Apps zu installieren, aber die Installation aus nicht vertrauenswürdigen Quellen würde ich mir also wirklich dreimal überlegen. Also gut, wenn man weiß, was man da tut, einverstanden. Ich kann nur davor warnen, ja, denn es ist immer so ein Thema, wenn man eine namensgleiche oder namensähnliche App dann findet, in der entsprechenden rohen Form als APK-Datei, ja, und meint, ja, die lade ich jetzt, ne, das wird schon passen, und handelt sich natürlich dann Dinge ein, die wir ja genau eben mit unserem Volla OS ja, von dem Vollaphone ja fernhalten wollen. Ja, von daher Obacht geben, ich sag mal, besser nicht. Ja. So, Sperrcodes, Passwörter, Pins, egal wie man dazu sagen will, sind auch Themen, die nicht so unbedingt gerne jetzt gelitten sind. Trotz alledem, es soll so sein, ja, dass man eben da eine PIN für hat, denn naja, wir haben für unsere Kreditkarten irgendwelche Pins, ne? Unsere Bankkarten gehen ohne Pins auch nicht. Ne? Wenn ich jetzt erinnere an Online-Portale, ja, uns begegnen ja Pins und Passwörter und wie die ganze Biester heißen und Tanz und Pux. Das sind Themen, da muss man einfach durch. Ja, die muss man eben auch so machen wollen. Denn ich sage immer, es geht um die höchstpersönliche Sicherheit der eigenen Daten. Ja, und das ist ein hohes Gut. Und da kommt jetzt noch ein von mir gerne genommenes Beispiel. Ich sage immer, ihr schreibt ja auch nicht eure Post auf Postkarten, sodass unterwegs noch bis zum Empfänger jeder mitlesen kann. Ja, sondern man steckt ja seine Post, geschrieben auf ein Stück Papier, in einen Umschlag, verschließt den, frankiert den Umschlag und schickt ihn weg. Das heißt, unterwegs kann oder können die Leute eben mit dem Umschlag ja nichts anfangen, die können nicht reingucken. So. Ja, und dann sage ich immer, wenn das mit der gelben Post oder generell mit der Post so geht, warum geht es bitteschön mit dem Smartphone nicht? Ne? Warum da jetzt keine Sicherung nehmen? Ja, das geht ja in der Regel um die gleichen Daten, also bitte Passwörter und Pins benutzen. Aber natürlich im Gegensatz zu den Notebooks und PCs und den dortigen Betriebssystemen ist natürlich das hier etwas anders gelagert. Die Pins und die Passwörter sind statisch ein Stück weit. Das heißt also, man muss natürlich auch sich überlegen, ob man diese Pins, diese Passwörter in einem regelmäßigen Rhythmus eben tatsächlich dann auch mal ändert. Ja, und ich weiß um die Problematik, ja, das ist auch lästig wie Backup, ja, aber ich kann es nur noch mal sagen, und wer mit mir eben kommuniziert, telefonisch oder auch schriftlich, der wird das immer wieder von mir auch so hören. Nicht, weil ich jemand ärgern will, sondern wir als Hallo-Welt-Systeme haben uns ja eben verdient, für die Privatsphäre auf dem Vollaphone mit dem Volla OS, aber auch dem Ubuntu Touch einzustehen. Ja, das geht aber zu 100% natürlich nur, wenn die von uns angebotenen Mechanismen dann auch umgesetzt werden. Ja. Und so schwer ist es nicht. Ja. Es sind eure Daten. Eingeführt wurde das vor längerer Zeit schon mal. Auch sehr bequem, aber brandgefährlich ist eben die Sperre des Systems, also dieses Smartphones, unseres Vollaphones mit einem Muster. Das heißt also, ich habe da eben 9 Punkte, die mir da angezeigt werden, ja, und dann gebe ich dann irgendein mir bekanntes, mehr oder weniger verständliches Muster ein. Oft ist es dann einfach nur ein Set, ne? Einfach mal drüber fahren, ja, oder sonst irgendetwas Einfaches, macht so keinen Sinn. Ja, also die Mustersperre kann man machen. Ja, die geht dann auch einher noch mit einer PIN oder einem Passwort, denn man muss ja bei solchen abstrakten Zugängen ja auch immer einen Rückweg haben, ja, denn was passiert, wenn die Mustersperre nicht funktioniert? Was passiert in der Biometrie, wenn mein Fingerabdruck sich aus welchem Grund auch immer verändert hat? Ich muss ja trotzdem in mein Volla OS, in mein Ubuntu Touch hineingelangen. Ja. Und der letzte Satz ist natürlich auch ganz entscheidend. Ja, da passiert es oft. Ja, man steht nach Corona natürlich dann eben beieinander. Und dann kann es ja durchaus passieren, ne? Man tippt da munter vor sich hin oder zieht da eben sein Muster über die Mustersperre, ja, und irgendeine Zeitgenosse, ne, schaut einem über die Schulter und späht auf die Tour aus, was man da gerade eben tut, gerade eben macht. Ja. Und da ist es natürlich besser, für einen gewissen Schutz dafür zu sorgen. Es gibt am Rande, Herr Dr. Wutzer und Herr Kehl, da müssen wir auch mal drüber reden, es gibt ja für die Smartphones ja auch sogenannte Blickschutzfolien. Ja, die kennt man eigentlich eher aus dem Bereich der Notebooks, ja, wo also jemand, der von der Seite oder von oben dann drauf schaut, ne, auf das Notebook-Display, da nichts mehr erkennen kann. Das heißt also nur derjenige, der davor sitzt, ne, oder beim Smartphone davor steht, kann das anschauen. Gibt es also auch in sehr guter Qualität für Smartphones. Das nur mal am Rande, muss man mal schauen. Über die Schnittstellen haben wir geredet. Ich will hier nur noch mal konkreter eingehen auf das Thema GPS-Verortung. Es gibt immer wieder Apps, die aus welchem Grund auch immer unbedingt jetzt eine GPS aktiviert haben wollen, also den Standort, der Standortinformation aktiviert haben wollen, aus welchem Grund auch immer. Also man kann natürlich mit der Standortinformation Gutes machen natürlich, siehe Navigation. Man kann natürlich auch viel Unfug machen und letztendlich kriminellen Elementen, ich sage das jetzt bewusst despektierlich, da natürlich in die Schuhe helfen. Denn wenn man solche GPS-Daten stiehlt, ja, kann man natürlich dann ganz schnell rückschließen, dass sich der Besitzer des Smartphones woanders aufhält, als eben seine Wohnadresse lautet. Heißt also, ich bin dann mit meinem Smartphone prima im Urlaub. Ja, mein Smartphone posaunt meine Standortdaten, und potenzielle Einbrecher wissen dann, aha, der Thomas Gruger ist noch zu Hause, da gehen wir mal gucken, was da zu holen ist. Ja, also es ist nicht so ganz ohne. Auch hier gilt wieder, gucken, muss die App tatsächlich jetzt den Standort wissen. Ich würde immer dazu übergehen, bei solchen Apps die Frage nach dem Standort zu verneinen und einfach zu schauen, was da passiert. Ja, und wenn die App dann der Meinung ist, um das jetzt mal so darzustellen, ich brauche jetzt einen Standort, sonst kann ich nicht weiterarbeiten, muss man mal genau hinschauen. Ja. Also ich würde mich nicht in die Ecke drängen lassen, einen Standort nur deswegen preiszugeben, damit genau diese App funktioniert. Ich denke, wenn man in Aurora reinschaut, wenn man in F-Droid schaut, es gibt genügend Alternativen, die dann ordentlich arbeiten und eben nicht einen Zugriff haben müssen auf den Standort. So, Hardware-Schnittstellen, USB. Natürlich, auch wenn das Vollaphone einen richtig leistungsfähigen Akku ja mitbringt, ne? Das ist ja auch eine tolle Sache. Ja, und man mit seinem Volla OS und jetzt auch mit dem Ubuntu Touch da einige Tage arbeiten kann, ja, telefonieren kann. Kommt es halt sicherlich irgendwann mal vor. Man ist fern der Heimat und muss das Gerät dann laden. Ja, und dann ist es natürlich schon einfach, ja, dafür liefern wir auch ein USB-Kabel mit, sich an irgendeine USB-Steckdose anzudocken, ja, und darüber sein Handy zu laden. Nur Vorsicht. Es kann gut sein, dass da aus dieser USB-Steckdose nicht nur Strom rauskommt, sondern da auch eine Datenübertragung initiiert wird. Ja, also da bitte genau drauf schauen mit den Möglichkeiten, die das Vollaphone mit dem Volla OS bietet, was da passiert. Ist es wirklich ein Aufladen, dann ist es in Ordnung. Wird da aber mehr gemacht, ja, da schaut man dann in den Einstellungen nach, bei verbundenen Geräten unter USB, in welchem Zustand sich der Anschluss befindet am Vodafone. Wenn er auf nur Laden steht, einverstanden. Wenn er aber beispielsweise aus anderen Gründen auf Datenübertragung steht, ist Vorsicht geboten. Ja, also da bitte auch ein Augenmerk drauf richten. Über die Hotspots haben wir geredet, da immer wieder das Stichwort VPN. VPN ist für manche ein Buch mit 7 Siegeln, aber die Siegel sind relativ einfach zu brechen. Ja, wir tun dann Übriges dazu, Herr Dr. Wurz hat es ja bereits erwähnt, wir liefern ja aus gutem Grund einfach diesen Voucher mit, damit man einfach mal einen Monat lang den Premium-Tarif von HideMe mal testen kann, um einfach ein Gefühl dafür zu kriegen, wie ist das Ganze, was muss ich denn da machen, und wo sehe ich das, und wie wirkt sich das dann aus, ja, und was kann ich denn da verändern. Ist ein spannendes Thema, wenn man sich mit eingehend beschäftigt. Generell, VPN ist immer dann sinnvoll, wenn ich mich unterwegs, also einfach außer Haus, bewege, ins Internet muss. Gleich auf welche Art und Weise, über ein öffentliches WLAN oder auch über ein WLAN einer Firma, die ich da besuche. Ja, da ist immer natürlich ein VPN ein Thema. Es kommt natürlich vor, so gut sich das alles anhört, dass natürlich fremde Anwender in einer besuchten Firma kein VPN aufbauen können, weil die dortige IT-Administration das reglementiert hat. Gut, dann lass es einfach sein. Es macht keinen Sinn, jetzt mit aller Gewalt jetzt eine Verbindung herstellen zu wollen. Letzten Endes kann ich ja immer noch auch meinen Mobilfunk benutzen. Das ist immer eine Frage, wie viel Daten ich übertragen muss. Wenn es nur die Information ist, mal eben E-Mails checken, dann ist mit Sicherheit Mobilfunk ausreichend. Muss ich größere Daten übertragen, jetzt in der Relation, ich bin Anbieter bei einer Firma und muss jetzt mal wegen eine umfangreiche PowerPoint-Präsentation runterladen. Da kann es schon sinnvoller sein, natürlich ein lokales WLAN zu nutzen, wenn es denn geht. Ja, aber auch da bitte immer dran denken. So mache ich es auf jeden Fall auch immer aus der Praxis für die Praxis. Wenn ich einen Schritt vor die Tür setze, dann kommuniziert eben mein Telefon via VPN. Ja, und es bleibt natürlich jedem überlassen, ob er das tut oder nicht. Aber auch da, auch wenn es jetzt gebetsmühlenartig klingen mag, aber ich sehe das nicht so, ich lebe da auch so. Es geht um meine persönlichen Daten und die sind sicher zu halten und der Aufwand ist, weiß Gott, nicht groß. Wenn es Probleme gibt, ja, dann sprecht mit dem, der da etwas Ahnung davon hat, zum Thema, wie verschlüssele ich, also mich einfach mal ansprechen, oder auch die Kollegen natürlich auch ansprechen. Wir reden darüber, wir finden auf jeden Fall sinnvolle Lösungen und mein Bestreben ist stets natürlich die Latte, die übersprungen werden muss, für solche Themen ganz niedrig anzubringen, um es eben einfach dem Anwender leicht zu machen, damit er es auch nutzt. So, das haben wir schon erledigt. Ja, das ist auch noch ein Punkt. Was passiert denn nun jetzt im Disasterfall, also im Falle des Falles, mein Vodafone ist geklaut. Was mache ich denn jetzt? Ja, wenn sich die erste Panik gelegt hat, muss man da ganz besonnen dran gehen. Es gibt da mehrere Schritte. Zum einen muss man natürlich umgehend bei seinem Mobilfunkanbieter dann sich melden und eben mitteilen, mein Handy ist geklaut, natürlich inklusive der SIM-Karte oder der SIM-Karten. Vodafone kann ja eben 2 Stücke aufnehmen und dann wird die Karte gesperrt und ist natürlich so jetzt für den Anwender, für den Dieb natürlich dann ist die SIM-Karte da nicht mehr nutzbar. Was wenige wahrscheinlich machen, viele vielleicht nicht wissen, man kann auf jedem Telefon dieses Planeten mit einer ganz einfachen Code-Eingabe die IMEI herausfinden. Die IMEI ist einfach die Abkürzung für International Mobile Equipment Identity Code. Ja. Und der Tastencode Stern-Raute 06 Raute, hilfsweise noch mit Druck auf die grüne Taste, bringt auf jedem Telefon, kann jeder probieren, die jeweilige IMEI. Wenn das Gerät 2 Stück kann, so wie das Vodafone, dann kommen da eben auch 2 IMEIs raus. Die IMEI ist so wie die MAC-Adresse eines Computers eindeutig. Das heißt, eine IMEI gibt es auf dem Planeten immer genau einmal. Ja, da steckt ein Stück weit wie beim Rechner der Hersteller drin und noch ein paar andere Daten, die zweifelsohne dann auch beim Hersteller dann angesiedelt sind. Und die sollte man sich auf jeden Fall merken. Bei ordentlichen Anbietern ist es einfach eine ganz normale Sache, ja, dass man das mitliefert oder wenigstens natürlich einen Hinweis bringt, ne, auf Sternraute 06 Raute. Ja, da habe ich dann auch kein Problem, das Ganze individuell zu gestalten. Ja, und diese Nummer sollte man sich auf jeden Fall frühestmöglich, wenn man eben das Telefon erhält, dann auch aufschreiben und am Ort meiner sonstigen persönlichen Daten dann auch hinterlegen, für den Fall, dass mit dieser E-Mail kann man dann ebenfalls beim Mobilfunkanbieter vorstellig werden und sagen, hier sperre diese Nummer. Leider arbeiten die Provider noch nicht übergreifend. Natürlich muss man dann eben in Deutschland beispielsweise neben T-Mobile dann auch Vodafone und Telefonica /O2 dann informieren. Dann ist es zumindest in dem Bereich erledigt. Das Ganze weiterzutreiben ist schwierig, weil die Telekommunikationsanbieter in dem Bereich leider zu wenig kooperieren, als dass man einfach sagt, okay, ich rufe jetzt eine zentrale Nummer an und sage, mein Handy ist weg, ich habe folgende Informationen dazu und dann wird es global gesperrt. Das wäre schön, bringt mir auch nicht unbedingt das Handy wieder, aber ich habe dann einfach so die innere Beruhigung. Hat man es zwar geklaut, der Kerl, aber er kann damit nichts anfangen. Naja, immerhin ist es natürlich da auch ein Thema. Man hat natürlich die Möglichkeit, wenn wir da schon sind, eben auch, wie es im letzten Absatz dieser Folie steht, Sicherheitslösungen zu etablieren, um eben Geräte zu orten. Ja, da sind wir dann wieder bei dem Thema Standortpreisgabe. Es gibt da sehr pfiffige Lösungen, die man da installieren kann. Die gehen eben von Remote-Sperrung, also die Ortung ja sowieso, über die Remote-Sperrung bis hin zu einer Verschlüsselung, wenn sie nicht sowieso schon da ist. Und eine Mitteilung auf dem Bildschirm, Einschaltung einer lautstarken Sirene. Ja, es gibt da alle möglichen Sachen. Ja, und da kann das Gerät gemutet sein. Ja, das geht dann trotzdem. Also da gibt es schicke Sachen. Muss man halt eben schauen, ob es dann am Ende dazu führt, dass das heißgeliebte Vodafone hoffentlich natürlich dann auch wieder dem rechtmäßigen Eigentümer überbracht werden kann. Bei den Rufnummern kann ich nur sagen, aufpassen. Es hat begonnen bei den Mobilfunknummern. Ja, da wurden Vodafone war das sehr leidgeplagt in den letzten Jahren in anderer Aufstellung, also beim anderen Arbeitgeber vor Hallo Welt Systeme hatten wir Vodafone als zentralen Anbieter. Und da war es also leider an der Tagesordnung, dass dann mit gefakten Nummern aus dem Vodafone Vorwahlbereich dann angerufen wurde und man verlangte dort nach dem Kundenteilnehmerkennwort. Das ist etwas, was man bei Firmenverträgen kennt. Ja, und man hat natürlich dann diese Nummern dann gemeldet. Es ist dann langsam abgeebbt. Die Bundesnetzagentur musste da auch massiv tätig werden. Aktuell hat es abgenommen. Es kommt immer wieder mal, aber auch im Festnetzbereich kommt sowas vor. Ja, und da werden ganz normale Vorwahlen angezeigt mit irgendeiner Nummer. Ja, eine Rufnummer im Display anzuzeigen, also zu spoofen, ist nicht sonderlich schwer, leider Gottes. Ja, und ich kann so tun, als wäre ich eben der Inhaber dieses Anschlusses, bin es aber nicht. Ja. Und Zielsetzung ist oftmals, man ruft die Nummer zurück und wird dann, ohne dass man es merkt, mit einem schweineteuren Tarif dann weiter verbunden. Und das kann also böse ins Auge gehen, wenn man das nicht rechtzeitig merkt. Also auch da bitte einfach die notwendige Vorsicht walten lassen und einfach mal prüfen, kenne ich die Nummer, ja, oder kenne ich sie nicht. Ja. Ich sage immer, Nummern, die ich nicht kenne, rufe ich nicht zurück. Ja, ist bei mir halt ein Grundsatz. Denn wenn es wichtig war, meldet sich derjenige wieder. Oder er hätte mir mindestens mal auf meinen Anrufbeantworter geschwätzt, damit ich dann weiß, was das Sache ist. Aber da muss jeder natürlich sich organisieren, wenn er die notwendige Sicherheit dann auch haben möchte. Schützen der Daten, man kann es nicht oft genug sagen. Bitte auch darauf achten, beim Gebrauch von SD-Karten im Zusammenhang mit dem Vodafone, wie es hier im zweiten Absatz steht, dass diese natürlich dann immer auch als intern formatiert werden. Dann kann man diese Informationen ja auch verschlüsseln. Werden sie als extern formatiert, sind die Daten, wenn man keine weiteren Maßnahmen ergreift, erst einmal unverschlüsselt abgelegt. Natürlich, es gibt entsprechende Apps, um die Daten dort zu chiffrieren, aber auch da ist eben wieder das alte Lied, man muss es tun. Und jetzt bitte um Nachsicht, man muss den inneren Schweinehund einfach besiegen, und nicht dauernd zum Jagen tragen, sondern wirklich verflixt noch eins, da auch dahinter stehen und das tun. Diese Fingernagel oder kleine Fingernagel großen Jeeps, naja gut, die sind ja geradezu prädestiniert, mal schnell einen neuen Besitzer zu finden. Ja, und da ist es schon wichtig, dass die Daten dort nach Möglichkeit eben verschlüsselt abgelegt werden. Ja. Ja, die regelmäßige Sicherung muss an der Stelle sein. Ja. Ich weiß, wir haben da auch noch einen Punkt, der da bei unserem Volla OS heißt, Sicherung. Wir haben da auch von euch, von Ihnen eben in der Community hervorragende Vorschläge bekommen. Vielen Dank dafür. Und wir müssen einfach jetzt an unseren Entwicklern das Ganze spiegeln, wo und wie und so weiter und so fort wir das einbauen. Immer unter der Überschrift so einfach wie möglich, aber so nachhaltig, wie es denn immer geht. Ja, denn dann, wenn eine Anwendung einfach bedienbar ist für den Benutzer, dann wird sie auch entsprechend angesprochen. Ja, und dann wird ein Backup erzeugt, dann wird eine Datensicherung gemacht und das ist auch gut so. Bereinigen aller Daten, ja gut, das ist auch so ein Thema. Ich meine, die SIM-Karte und die SD-Karte, an die Sachen denkt man schon, aber oftmals nicht eben daran, dass da ja noch Daten rumfliegen und man kann ja durchaus da eben mit dem Zurücksetzen was tun. Besser noch, man geht natürlich dann, das ist zwar recht technisch, aber ist eine saubere Lösung, in den Recovery Mode und lässt dort eben die Partitionen löschen. Und dann sind die Daten dann tatsächlich so gelöscht, dass eben der nächste da nach den Regeln der Kunst, sage ich immer, nicht mehr drankommt. Was ich jetzt erzähle, kann in einem Jahr, in 2 Jahren natürlich Makulatur sein, weil da die Technik natürlich weitergeht. Ja. Aber ich muss jetzt vom Ist-Zustand ausgehen. Wir haben heute und haben heute die Möglichkeiten zur Hand. Man muss sie nur nutzen. Habe ich erzählt. Zum guten Schluss, ich bin fast in der Zeit. Das Thema VPN haben wir ja schon mehrfach besprochen. Das wird immer wieder mal kommen. Bitte, wenn man es nicht unbedingt jetzt nutzen möchte gleich, wenigstens mal anschauen, sich mal mit vertraut machen und dann für sich selbst die Karten legen. Geht es jetzt zu mir oder auch nicht? Und wenn nicht, dann bitte einfach uns fragen. Ja, wir reden dann darüber und finden, wie ich ja immer wieder sage, da nach Möglichkeit aufwandsarme Lösungen. Ja. Dann wird das Ganze dann auch ein Schwung. Ja. Ich bin durch. Die letzte Folie weist auf unsere Firma und nehme jetzt mal hier meinen Foliensatz weg. So, da bin ich wieder. So, gibt es da zu dem Thema noch Fragen? Wenn nicht jetzt, dann später auch noch im Chat, im YouTube-Chat oder natürlich unter den bekannten Mailadressen oder Telefonnummern stehe ich gerne zur Verfügung. Und wenn ich nicht verfügbar sein sollte, dann natürlich gerne meine Kollegen, die da auch Ihnen ruhig helfen. Ich danke für die Aufmerksamkeit und hoffe, ich konnte das eine oder andere vermitteln zu dem recht spannenden Komplex Sicherheit im Alltag. Und vielleicht habe ich auch dazu beigetragen, dass der eine oder andere eben sein Arbeiten mit dem Smartphone neu bewertet. Vielen Dank.
Ja, vielen Dank für den ausführlichen, spannenden Vortrag.
Danke.
Über Sicherheit. Thank you very much for your lecture. Do we have international guests in the chat room still?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So I switch back to English. So I appreciate any question. So the presentation of my colleague was about basic security, privacy protection. I think it's a very complex topic, but sometimes it's worth to remind the basics, in particular for consumers who are new or have no technical background. And so your questions are welcome. One question in the chat room was regarding the update. I admit that the Volla OS 9 is from last year. So I expect that we have the Volla OS 9 update soon. Our plan was to publish it today, but there one last final test failed yesterday evening. So I think it's just a matter of days that the intermediate Volla OS 9 update will come. And it's hard to predict when the Volla OS 10 update will come. That is then up to date. And because we have some final issues, it can be a couple of days, or I think I'm pretty sure that we have it in early June. But it's like IT, we have to fix that final issue. I'm very optimistic, so that you have an up-to-date system soon. And I announced this morning that afterwards we already started to reorganize our repositories, not only to publish the code of Volla OS on GitHub, that you can build your own system, but also to be able to publish more frequent minor updates. So that is a strategy for an up-to-date Volla OS. So unfortunately, I have to announce that Mr. Vogt of Core IT has cancelled his contribution for some urgent requirements in his company. So Care IT is working in a security sector. They have a specific test lab. And so his contract was about protected communication. So we have, so the next contribution is in 3:30 from Professor Asmuth. I'm very looking forward to what he has to say and demonstrate. I think it's very nice to have a live demo. I love live demos. And now we have some opportunity to clarify questions from the audience. Is there some further question?
Yeah, so if anyone has a question, wenn irgendjemand eine Frage hat, please ask, bitte gerne melden, auch gerne einfach das Mikro aufmachen. If you just unmute yourself, if you have questions, you're free to do it. I would be happy to just hear your personal experience also with the Volla phone and what operation system you personally use, or what kind of privacy settings in your own digital life you have, just to well, have a small roundup of who's doing what. Should be quite interesting.
Yeah, and if you're an expert or have some knowledge, experience, how you protect your communication, let us know. We are frequently asked about the appropriate, this is on my security gateways that you see on screen. So we are often asked about security. There are some and what communication tool people should use. First of all, I would like to motivate and encourage everyone to have a look at privacy and security. Although some people say privacy is not possible. So there are some people in the public, I think it was also the director of the CIA, he said in German, es gibt keine Privatsphäre mehr, gewöhnt euch dann, there is no privacy anymore, keep it as it is. So that's one extreme, and the other extreme is to try to have a complete protection. It's possible. There are some professionals who need to protect their communication very strong, journalists, activists, lawyers, and politicians. But to compare it, if you have your apartment and you know that maybe the fireman can come in if it's burning, but that you won't conclude by that fact that you don't have a key for your door. So I suggest to see it in a balanced way. So it makes sense to protect your privacy, and it needn't be perfect. So, and that's my recommendation here. I would encourage to do some basic steps. Regarding protected communication, please be aware that the worst communication channel is a classic phone and a classic short messages, because that is stored, so by law in Germany for 6 months. So the at least the metadata of your calls, and also I think for short messages. So I think it should go in the direction that we all should use something else, some encrypted communication. And I prefer solutions that have no central data storage or the data center, where the service itself just enables the connections. So if you have a service where you can't recover your messages, if you enter that service from another device, that is a good sign. Because, so, I think many of our users in the community are using Signal. I think Signal is a good choice for private communication. It's also recommended by Edward Snowden. He simply said, "I'm using Signal for years and I'm still alive." That was his statement, and I like that. There are also some other messengers that are very popular in our community, like Threema. I don't know how reliable Threema is, but they have also end-to-end encryption, and it's possible to use Threema on the Volla phone with Volla OS. Unfortunately, not with Ubuntu Touch. You can buy and download the app from Threema's webpage. Who doesn't know? Because it's a paid app. That's the business model of Threema. And there are also some other very interesting projects. We are also evaluating all that solutions to make a recommendation in the future. There are, for example, Loki network, or an app that is called Session. It's almost unable to find it with that keyword in a search engine. It's so generic. But it's also a highly encrypted messaging. And I think it's the one from Loki network, and it's using a kind of blockchain. And then we have Tox. Tox is not so popular, but it's also a very interesting open source project that we should have a look at least that we should track the progress. If you have some further recommendations, let us know. And even if you are forced to use other channels like WhatsApp because your family or in your company is using WhatsApp, you can do so. And in this case, I recommend that you force the app to quit. If you have used it, you can do that in the Volla phone in these settings, and that has the impact that the app doesn't run always in the background. So yeah, that is something about the protected communication. Maybe in the meantime we have further questions.
Yeah. One question from YouTube community: is there a plan to integrate a possibility like the Orbit app as an alternative to the VPN connection to route the traffic through the Tor network, like a built-in feature instead of an external app?
That's a good question. Something like that. So I indeed want to expand that security options. Currently, we have the VPN. By the way, this VPN allows split tunneling that we have. That can be necessary because some VPN connections are blocked. For instance, by your email provider or by your business account, then you can do split tunneling. We are thinking about adding a strict network control. There are some also interesting app. I don't have the name in my mind. It's available in the F-Droid, where you can protect network connections. So my idea is to combine that VPN with something like Little Snitch on macOS, or there are also some similar apps for Android available, where the user decides to block specific network connections that he always or she always see. here's an app that would open an internet connection. I would like to allow it for 10 minutes, or I would like to block it, or I would like to block it permanently. That would have the impact that that you can use apps that use tracking, but you can just block the tracking. Very, very smart.
Yeah.
The challenge is also for some additional pre-installed stuff like Orbit, that Android allows only one VPN at once. It's not like on a PC, so we need a technical solution for that. So
and normally you should always think about like every single device which has some connection of wireless network or wired network can or is allowed to communicate through your internet connection normally if you have your normal router installed. And of course, technical experts would use like a firewall where they can really track all the connections that go outside and inside, and then can also block them. And there are quite many solutions to do it on your own if you're an expert. But like the Volla team,
Yeah.
and then also the Volla phone, the focus is like making these security and privacy features available for the normal, not technical expert, also to use it and to have this feeling of more privacy. So
Yeah,
it should be also possible, it could be also possible to have a device made by the Hallo Welt Systeme to monitor the network, maybe.
Yeah. So we anyway have done that for an approval of the all underlying layers in our operation system. We can do that with Wireshark, for instance, many people know. And it should be easy. And my benchmark are apps like Little Snitch, where something pops up if someone from outside would open a connection, or an app in the background suddenly opens a connection. So by that solution, I use Microsoft Word and Excel, and I totally blocked the internet connection. I can be securely use that. Some words for Orbit and Tor. This is a perfect solution if you are doing some investigation, if you are in the web. And so I think that is more a solution that should be integrated into a browser. Maybe we change the pre-installed browser in the future. There are also some projects that have integrated, how is that name from that browser? Lion or something, that integrates the Tor browser in a kind of privacy mode, because using Tor is, in my point of view, only, but in this case, really useful for doing research, investigations, if you would like to be anonymous in web pages. But if you are logged in to do your banking transactions, or you have logged in your email account, I think Tor is not the best choice, because this communication goes to several hubs. So as soon, or several nodes, as soon you do something something secure, where you are logged in into a system, you shouldn't use Tor. So please be aware of the use case when using the Tor network.
Yeah. Okay, then there was Mr. Asmus also said the Brave browser allows to use Tor.
Yeah, Brave browser.
Window or tab.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Asmus.
Yeah, that was the name. Yeah, that. And I think it's also a very modern one, because they're using the Chrome engine that works best for the web.
Yeah. And we have another question in German. Wird auch etwas über das Volla von mit Ubuntu erzählt? I will answer in English and try to switch over.
Ich erzähle auch darüber was.
But there was already a nice speech this morning from Mr. Leber, where he was talking also about the Ubuntu version and also about the UB Ports Foundation. We also showed the new Volla X the Volla Phone X, which is a rugged phone, and this is also the Ubuntu version. So here's Ubuntu pre-installed already. It will be ready for ordering with the beginning of or in the middle of June. So well,
Yeah,
Ubuntu will also be a topic tomorrow, I guess, and also today is there with an unbox. There's probably another speech regarding.
Yeah, thank you very much. About Ubuntu Touch. We have some very interesting contribution this afternoon about Nbox, so you can run some essential Android Apps. So heute Nachmittag haben wir nochmal einen Beitrag über Nbox. Das erlaubt Android-Apps auf Ubuntu Touch auszuführen. Heute Morgen hatten wir einen Vortrag von einem Beiratsmitglied der UBports Stiftung, mit der wir eng zusammenarbeiten. Aber zum Thema Sicherheit, hier habe ich eins. One big difference is that unfortunately Ubuntu Touch doesn't support yet a device encryption that is available on Volla OS. Leider unterstützt das Ubuntu Touch noch keine Geräteverschlüsselung. Da liegt das Volla OS derzeit vorne. Auch viele Apps gibt es auf den Volla OS, die es dann nicht unter Ubuntu Touch gibt. However, so on the Ubuntu Touch, you have some interesting the basic security features. We are very proud that we support a fingerprint sensor. You can protect the device for sure. And there are also some apps here for secure communication. So we have Wire that is available in the open store that I have tested. That was previously a Canadian company with end-to-end encryption. The company is now moved to the US, and I'm not really sure anymore, but I think they have also a very good technology, and they don't store the content on their servers. Also a very interesting thing. And we have Signal on the Ubuntu Touch store. I think it's called Axolotl. It's a little bit difficult to find it in the store. And we have Telegram, but Telegram is not for privacy. It's mainly for no censorship. Also unter Ubuntu Touch gibt es auch interessante Sicherheitsfunktionen, natürlich die grundlegenden, um das Gerät vor fremdem Zugriff zu schützen, wie ein Fingerabdrucksensor, der das dann auch komfortabel gestaltet. Und im Open Store gibt es einige interessante Apps. Wire ist auch eine, da gibt es eine App, und dann gibt es Axolotl. Das habe ich hier installiert. Da geht es ums Signal, wenn ich jetzt nicht gerade was durcheinander bringe. Und dann haben wir auch noch Telegram. Telegram ist allerdings aus meiner Sicht weniger zum Thema Schutz der Privatsphäre, sondern da geht es eher um das Thema freie Rede, wo auch viele investigative Journalisten zensurfrei veröffentlichen und sich mit anderen austauschen. Auch da, wer sich für Telegram interessiert, es gibt immer beim Open Store viele Varianten. Da die App Teleports, das ist zwar eine Beta, aber so wie ich das probiert habe, kann man ein bisschen mehr machen als die zwei anderen Web-Apps, die es auch noch im Open Store gibt. So, das also so you can use also Telegram. You find it in the Open Store several apps, so no official one, 2 web apps, and I prefer this Teleports app. That is quite nice. You can even exchange voice messages and things like that. So this is so there are some security. There is also WhatsApp. Yeah, well, I wouldn't recommend it because it's announced that major popular apps are part of the surveillance programs. So it's maybe not the best idea. and also some hints that is maybe only a small user group relevant. So if you are a journalist or an activist, so please note that the most information metadata about your location is tracked by the mobile carrier. So, and if you would like to meet somebody or that should be protected, then you can switch on the flight mode. And usually you have wireless somewhere where you are, maybe at your friends or the people you meet, the company you meet, and you are available by that encrypted messages. Oder auf Deutsch, also es gibt natürlich auch schon mal, wir müssen uns Gedanken machen, dass natürlich die meisten Bewegungsdaten über die Mobilfunkdienstleister gesammelt wird und auch unautorisiert weitergegeben werden, wie im letzten Jahr von der Deutschen Telekom an das RKI oder jüngst auch in der Schweiz, wo dann die Datenschützer festgestellt haben, wie konnte die Telekom dort Daten weitergeben, die älter als ein Jahr sind, obwohl es per Gesetz verboten ist, diese zu halten. Also bei solchen Fällen, wo man andere Leute vielleicht als Journalist, Aktivist oder Jurist, Anwalt trifft, dann einfach die Flugmodus einschalten und dann erreichbar sein über WLAN, wenn man irgendwo ist, und dann verschlüsselt die Gespräche machen. Das auch nochmal so als kleiner Tipp, ist ja auch durchaus in Deutschland relevant, wo wir uns nicht unbedingt mit jemandem in einer beliebigen Zahl treffen können dürfen. So, some further questions?
It seems like there are no further questions.
Yeah.
No. So there was one question in the Volla user community chat in Telegram. Kann man einstellen, dass die Tastatur gleich Umlaute mit drauf hat? Can you have those Ö, I, Ü, Ä keys directly on the keyboard?
Maybe.
I checked. I can't answer it right now because I am using the Flores board.
Ja, that's the answer. So vielen Dank. Die Frage ist, kann man also auch ein Keyboard haben mit Umlauten? Ja, das Keyboard wird umgestellt mit der Spracheinstellung normalerweise. Jetzt müssen mir die Community-Mitglieder jetzt mal helfen, wie das bei Ubuntu Touch ist. Bei Volla OS, da gibt es natürlich immer die Möglichkeit, da wird es auch sofort umgestellt mit der Sprache. Man kann auch mit einem langen Druck auf die Tastatur, auf die Space-Taste, also auf die Leertaste, dann die Sprache nochmal schnell umstellen, denn dann verhält sich sozusagen die Anzeige der Umlaute anders, wenn man die deutsche Taste hat, dass zum Beispiel das Ä durch einen langen Druck auf das A erreichbar ist. Und eine gute Nachricht, Sie können natürlich eine beliebige andere Tastatur-App sozusagen installieren. Und da gibt es natürlich auch sehr mächtige Tastatur-Apps. Ja. Da gibt es, wie heißt es, also Keyboard, any Keyboard, something like that. Es gibt also im F-Droid Store sozusagen andere Tastaturen und auch natürlich noch viel mehr im Aurora Store. Da müssen Sie ein bisschen drauf achten, wer diese App rausgegeben hat und ob es damit Tracking verbunden ist. Vor allen Dingen, wenn mit der Tastatur, die rausgegeben ist, irgendwie so Speech-to-Text oder sowas ist. Aber da gibt es auch größere Tastaturen, wo direkt das Ö dann drauf ist. Genau. Also das mal so in English for keyboards, so you can install other keyboard apps on the Volla OS and find them in the F-Droid store. Also very nice keyboard that are much more minimalistic, and I guess we will exchange it in the future because it's not so nice a default AUSP keyboard that we are currently pre-installed. So and if you download or install a keyboard from Aurora, so you may have a look at the tracking and be aware please read the instruction if you have speech to text, whether it's using cloud.
So we had this discussion a while ago in the Telegram chat, and there were two opportunities at least. One was the Flores board that I am personally also using, and the other one was open board, and they are both like no tracking, privacy based, and no speech to text. And the Flores board is also support like swipe.
Yeah, some people love it.
Some like it. I don't. I just can't do it right.
Till now, I don't understand T9 from the old feature phones. Someone knows maybe.
I grew up with it. Yeah.
Okay. So and also one who disables. Maybe this is a tip. Personally, I disable all keyboard correction and stuff like that. Because it's annoying for me, and I'm happy to have that setting in Volla.
I always said that autocorrection does make things really bad, while typos are just typos. Like if I type something wrong, that's okay, but if it changes the word to something which I didn't want it to write, and there are some funny but also some not funny corrections that can bother some people.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
And also, and I think the keyboard also for Ubuntu Touch is aware if you have it in landscape mode, and then you have, I think, also more keys, right?
More keys, okay. By the way, I was checking the USB OTG functionality a few days ago. There's well, if you connect a mouse directly to your phone, you have the pointer, so you can normally use your phone with a mouse. You can also attach a keyboard like that. So that's normally a good opportunity to use it with peripherals. But the opportunity to connect a monitor is something different, because normally the USB 2.1, is it right? 2.0?
2.0, yeah.
2.0 is normally a one-way connection, so there could only be one data stream. So I don't know if a monitor needs two, or if it just gets the signal, if it's really working.
So
we have to check this again and again, and we also are in strong communication with maybe a supplier that helps us out.
And because we know that Sentio with their Superbook, I'm just testing a Superbook that Mr. Gruger sent me. They realized to connect a device with USB OTG, so that is possible, and that requires an additional app that creates a signal and send it over the USB OTG hub. And maybe we find a solution, an open source solution with a similar approach. And I would be happy if some ideas or contributors can help us to make that happen, because I believe in the convergence use case for several reasons.
Yeah. So, in 10 minutes, we will have the speech from Professor Dr. Asmuth, I guess, on 15:30. In the meantime, if there are any more questions, also here in the conference, please feel free to ask them live here. Also, if you have some questions to the speakers that are inside of here, please don't hesitate and ask.
And I have a question. Who is working on the hackathon? Is there someone in the chat who is currently preparing something for tomorrow that we can see? So give us a note. Would be very nice. So because you can get your Volla phone if you have not already one. Maybe it's done your first one for free if you contribute to the hackathon results, or you have one of the Volla Phone X that might come soon without maybe the final package it. So you have it very early, but so you have that nice Volla Phone X. And by the way, if on the weekend, including Monday, we have also a voucher code on our webpage, if people would like to have one Volla phone.
Yeah. And also, if you want, just saying to get over to those minutes, if you want one of those Volla stands, well, they are already printed in white and black. You can put your Volla phone in it. We both have our Volla phones in it right now, and it also has a charging port, which is obviously, because of the height, only well, it only works with a 90 degrees clock. But nonetheless, it looks very great on the desk. And if you want one, just well, write us an email or write in the chat, and we will get you one.
We didn't talk about security, if it's called secret communication. We talked about messaging and voice communication. That includes also sometimes video communication. Wire offers audio and video, even solution for companies. So what's about email? So I think many of our customers are using ProtoMail. We have in Germany, who doesn't know yet, Tutor Nota. That is a company that offers for consumers who don't want to set up or handle PGP or stuff like that. So it's quite easy to get a free or a paid account by Tutor Nota and exchange encrypted messages. So for sure, they unfortunately Tutor Nota was at the court to be forced to open the doors. But they, in the end, Tutor Nota only has to open the doors for unencrypted messages. I think that is the current state. So you can be sure that you can communicate, or pretty sure, who knows. So, but they have also published the whole code as open source. So they go that open source direction. Not each company that offers encrypted communication decides to offer their data, their code as open source. And there's also StartMail that is not so popular, and we are in contact with StartMail. This is this is related to the Startpage company in the Netherlands. So regarding messaging, it's also a good idea to use that. I use it also. Some of our community knows it, who want to communicate completely private. And the most private way to get a phone, we have already some users that come to us to Remscheid, that pick up their phone and pay per cash. And we all don't ask for the name.
Okay, if you don't have any more questions, I would suggest, if you are ready, Mr. Professor Dr. Asmuth, if you're already prepared, you can also unmute yourself and tell us if you're ready.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much that you are contribute to the Volla Community Days. So I'm impressed that you spend time on that. We are a young company, a young community. It's the third year and third event with the Volla community. This year, unfortunately, only online, but we are happy about all the audience that we have. I think we had already up to 40 people that have been online. So it's a growing community. Welcome. Thank you very much that you have prepared your inspiration, I would like to say. So I would like to hand over to you. You can share your screen, and we are all curious what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to give this talk.
Perfect.
So I'll share my video camera and I'll share my screen for the slides.
Okay, we see your screen.
So first question, do you want me to give the talk in English or in German?
Well, the reactions were also on YouTube that English would be better, and also the captions will be available on YouTube afterwards. So I would suggest to do it in English because anyone can do the captions. And the main people should
maybe
also understand English.
if you have some chapters, you can have a short summary what's about in one sentence in German.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's no problem at all, whatever you like. And but also for the audience, if you want to ask me questions in German, I'm also happy to answer your question in German as well, because I'm hopefully you understand that German is my mother tongue, so I'm well aware of capable of answering questions in German as well. So let's get started.
Gerade nochmal genau das auf Englisch, auch auf Deutsch übersetzt. Wenn jemand Fragen hat auf Deutsch, auch gerne stellen, sowohl im Chat als auch dann nach dem Vortrag persönlich. Herr Dr. Asmuth ist natürlich auch ein Deutscher und das ist seine Muttersprache. Das heißt, wir akzeptieren da Deutsch und Englisch. Danke.
Thank you. Okie dokie, let's get started. And first of all, I guess most of you don't know me. I'm a professor of computer networks and mathematics at a small University of Applied Sciences at Amberg, which is in the northeastern part of Bavaria. I'm in the Department of Electrical Engineering, Media, and Computer Science. And for this department, I'm also the Dean of Studies. Just to give you an idea, I'm teaching mathematics for the beginners in our electrical engineering or computer science bachelor programs, but I'm also teaching things like computer networks, cryptography, coding theory, and information security. And the latter one is also what I do in research. So we are working on several funded research projects that rely on applied cryptography or information security or ethical hacking. So just to let you know who I am. And now for my talk. I have watched Thomas Gruger's talk about potential risks and vulnerability of smartphones. And so he gave you the general view, and I just want to summarize a bit what he already said. So what we've seen over the years since the smartphones were introduced, we have seen that hacked smartphones are used for surveillance of the owner, be it by audio, by camera, looking at the call logs. And Thomas Gruger also told you about the positioning and the problem using the GPS signal, and of course also using SMS. There's also, we've also seen lots of data theft from our smartphone. That's why I absolutely agree that the personal data should be encrypted on the phone, not only on the phone, but also on possible SD cards if you use SD cards. And here's just an overview what kind of data might get stolen. The advantage from an attacker's perspective, if you attack a smartphone compared to an ordinary computer, is that you also have some payment option out of the box, because we all have these full contracts on our smartphone with unlimited data and unlimited unlimited call, unlimited text messages and stuff like this. But there are certain services that you have to pay for, paying big money, like premium SMS services or whatever. And attackers might use these or exploit these and get some money directly out of the customer or of the owner of the smartphone. And this is for the older ones of you. You might probably remember those days when we all used a modem to connect to the internet, and you had certain dialers, and everyone was experiencing problems with the default dialers, and everyone was looking for other dialers that get you into the internet more quickly or cheaper or whatever. And these were the days when malware for ordinary computers were also able to extract money directly from the customers or from the users. And this is exactly the same situation we have for smartphones today. And of course, if an attacker has gained access to your phone and is able to impersonate you, he, of course, use this faked identity to, of course, send emails that are obviously not from yourself, but claim to be from you, or post stuff on social media that might originate or should originate from you, but of course is not from you directly. Or since smartphones are just computers, we've also seen attacks where smartphones have been used in larger attacks like denial of service attacks and things like that. But let's keep it that short, because Thomas Gruger has told you about much of these things, and I don't want to go into detail. Today, I prepared 2 demonstrations because I want to dive into 2 particular threats or attacks, and leave all the other weaknesses and vulnerabilities aside. So I would like to talk about passwords, and I would like to talk about phishing. So let's start with passwords. As you probably know, you cannot store passwords directly on your device or on a computer in a readable format, because otherwise an attacker could just enter that part of the storage and read out the password as a plain text. So therefore, the passwords are usually hashed using a hash function, and these hash functions generate a hash value, or simply hash, which is something like a fingerprint of the input. And this fingerprint is stored instead of the original password. So you might think of a hash function of some sort of algorithm that you can input any data, as much data as you like, but the output of the hash function will also have a certain length. For example, say 192 bits or 256 bits, whatever. So, but the output is always at the same length. So, for cryptographic hash functions that are used to securely store passwords, we have additional properties, not only reducing the input to a certain length. First of all, the hash should be fast and easy to compute, of course, for any given input. Second, cryptographic hash functions are so-called one-way functions, which means if you're given a hash, it must be infeasible to find an input that produces exactly that hash value. So you can compute the hash from any input, but it's impossible to do the computation the other way around and find an input that generates exactly that particular hash. And the third property is collision resistance. It must be infeasible to find any 2 inputs that lead to the same hash value. So just keep in mind, if we go to the attack and the demonstration, these properties are not that important, because I'm going to explain what I'm doing in this attack. So using these properties and cryptographic hash functions, we can have a look how passwords are stored if you create an account on a machine. It doesn't matter if it's a smartphone or it's a normal computer or it's a web service or whatever. First of all, if you create a new account, you enter a username and a password. Usually you are asked to enter the password twice, just to make sure that you didn't misspell your password. So this is just to make sure. So if you press OK, then the password is hashed, and this hash is stored as in a combination with your username. So if you want to log into the system, you have to enter your username and your password. And because the password is not stored in as a plain text, you also have to bring the password you just entered to log in to the same format as the stored password is. And therefore, this password you entered for login is also hashed. And then you compare this newly computed hash with the stored hash for the given user. If both hashes are the same, then the login is successful and the user proceeds. Or if this comparison is not equal, then you have some sort of you have to deal with it somehow. I mean, and this is, you have to distinguish between online attacks and offline attacks, because in an online attack, you have something like you enter, for example, the Facebook website. You may be, as an attacker, you may know the username of a given user, and then you try to find or guess what password might that user have. But of course, in an online attack, there are pretty good measures to deal with such attacks, because usually you have something like, I can also have this an example for smartphones, for example. You know, when you enter your PIN 3 times wrongly, then you cannot access your smartphone using that particular PIN, but you have to use the PUC in order to get into the smartphone. And so for an online attack, you might limit the number of tries an attacker has to a very low number, and therefore the probability that an attacker is successful, you can put that very you can decrease the probability very much. But with an offline attack means that, for example, there's been a cyber attack, and the attacker managed to steal all the hashed passwords, all the hash values, and all the other user information for a given web service. And now he has a list of hashed passwords, and he can try whether to find, can I compute hashes that match the hashes that I just stole? So maybe I should give a small summary in German. Also, es geht darum, wenn man irgendwelche Dienste angreifen möchte, muss man unterscheiden zwischen Online-Angriffen und Offline-Angriffen. Bei den Online-Angriffen kann man diese Angriffe in der Regel sehr gut abwehren, wenn man zum Beispiel die Anzahl der Anmeldeversuche begrenzt oder sowas einbaut, wie zum Beispiel eine Wartezeit nach dem so und so vielten Versuch. Bei einem Offline-Angriff geht es darum, dass ein Angreifer tatsächlich alle gehashten Passwörter von allen Benutzern hat. Und die hat er jetzt für sich verfügbar und kann natürlich beliebig oft versuchen, Passwörter für diese oder die richtigen Passwörter zu raten, indem er eben Hashes berechnet für geratene Passwörter. So, and what I would like to show you now is such an offline attack. And for that purpose, we've built a special computer at our university, which I'm going to show you in a second. But first, let me explain what I'll be doing. If you do an offline attack, the best strategy, at least in my opinion, is first you try a list of the worst passwords you know. I mean, you all know, and Thomas Gruger also told this explained this in his talk. Many users are lazy. and they use passwords they absolutely should not use. For example, password or password 123 or admin 1234 or something like that. And first of all, I use a list of all such worst passwords and just give it a try. And you will definitely find corresponding hashes. So there are users that definitely use such weak passwords. The next step would be you do a brute force attack, which means you, for a given set of characters, for example, small caps, upper or small caps, lower letter, lowercase characters, uppercase characters, digits, for example, you try all combinations there are up to a certain password length. And you will get the passwords of all those users which use too short passwords. After that, you could try to use dictionaries, because dictionaries, don't think of a dictionary like the Oxford English Dictionary or the Duden for German. There are special dictionaries for passwords out there. And these dictionaries, for example, often come with password cracking tools. And these dictionaries just contain passwords that have been leaked or found out after cyber attacks. And so all these passwords, which are, of course, quite common passwords, are also available for the attacker. And if this doesn't work, then the next could be you try the dictionary in combination with rules. Because, I mean, as you know, most passwords are generated by but not by Germans, but also by English people or whatever, but by people, not by machines. And so you have the problem that these people want to remember their passwords, and therefore they choose passwords they can easily remember. But that is some sort of conflict, because those passwords who are easy to remember are probably not the ones that should be chosen because they are too weak. I would like to give you an idea of what I mean with rules. Some people generate their passwords like this. They think of a certain word, for example, a name, and after the name, they know they should also use digits in their password. And so they add like, for example, a year or a certain date, for example, the birthday of the son or the birthday of the wife or whatever, as a 4-digit addition to the word. And so you get the password as a combination of word, 4 digits, and, for example, if there's a strict password policy that says, but you must use special characters as well, then these people usually add an exclamation mark or a point or a dash or whatever as the final character. And so these rules, how people build passwords according to password rules that are given by certain systems, all these rules are, of course, known to the attacker. And therefore, the attacker uses these rules. And what we've been working on a couple of times is the next would be to use Markov chains. This means if you have trained your password cracking system with, say, passwords in English, then you can add additional information that might be person related. For example, if you know you want to attack a certain person and you have access to his Twitter feed, to all his posts on Facebook and other social media things, then you can feed these additional person-related password to the machine. And these information about that certain person is used to generate passwords that are most likely for that person first. And so you can try these out and try to find hashes. yeah, and just to give this to show you the big picture. This is of course the password space for all passwords, and from a user's perspective, it's very important that you use just these non-trivial passwords. So what I do in this attack is I'll start with the list of worst passwords, then do a brute force attack for a given length limit. Then I'll do I'll skip the dictionary attack and go to dictionary plus rules and show you two different attacks using two different dictionaries. So let's see if this works. This is the machine I'll be using. It's called the Cappuccino. The name was given by two students. I mean, this was, I think, 3 years ago when we had some money left from a research project. And some of you might know how this works at university. You must get rid of the money, otherwise they just take it away from you if you haven't spent it until a certain time. And so we were forced to buy something, anything with this money, and we decided to buy graphic cards and build this particular computer. And this is just a schematic, and this is just a picture of what the computer really looks like. So now I'm going to connect to this computer, or I'm already connected to this computer. Yeah, it's already there. So this is just give me just tell me, is the size of the font big enough for you so you can read it?
Yeah, you can read it. I mean, you can do it a little bit bigger, but I'm still not in full screen mode as I have to watch the chat also. But yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. So as I said, I would like to do these attacks I just explained. And I'll be using as a target, I'll be using this file, md5 passwords.txt. And if you look at this, you can see that we have one hash per line, and we have a big number of hashes. We can count these. So we have about 76,000 hashes, and therefore 76,000 passwords. I mean, these passwords have been leaked after a cyber attacks, 5 or 6 years ago. And when the attackers published this data on the internet, I downloaded the hashes, of course, not the user's information or the credit card information, which that was all of that was there. But of course, I was only interested in the hashes because I wanted to do some research on the quality of passwords that people use for real world internet services. So this was a real internet service. And what you see here is now the type of passwords or the strength of passwords people use for their real life, real world internet services. So let's start with the attack using the worst passwords. So this was a bit fast. Here you can see that the 6 graphic cards are now initiated or initialized, and here you can see what passwords we've found so far. All of these passwords have been found, and so these are quite some. And just to give you an idea, this attack just took 9 seconds of computation time, and out of these 76,000 passwords, we already found 4,200 passwords. So let's do the next attack. We do the brute force. I'll be doing a brute force attack using lowercase characters, uppercase characters, digits, until up to a length of 7 characters. And this is the next attack. After initialization of the graphic cards, it begins. And now you can see this is just the initialization phase. We are now trying, now we've already tested all 1 character passwords. We're now 2 character passwords. And you can see we are now already with 6 character and 7 character passwords. And you can see all these passwords that have been found, that have already been found. And more passwords to come. And if you remember what you've been told, what sort of passwords you should use, you can find passwords in here. If I just skip through, some might look random, but they are too short. But of course, you find things like that. This attack takes about 2.5 minutes. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer your questions in the meantime, if there are any. Wenn Sie Fragen haben oder wenn ihr Fragen habt, bitte fragt mich. Oh, now it's done. So, and as you can see, about 1/3 of the users of this particular internet service, about 1/3 of them uses passwords that are too short. We found 22,000 passwords just using this brute force attack. In addition, with these worst passwords, we now have 26,000 passwords recovered in a computation time of about 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes. Let's do a dictionary attack. And this is quite, this works quite well. It doesn't take too long. Yeah, it's done, as you can see. And we found, just using these, what I did is I used the list of the worst passwords and combined this list with these rules I was talking about, like adding characters, adding digits at the end or something like that. And using the first set of rules, we found 16,000 passwords. And finally, let's do the same attack again, but with a more complex set of rules. So there's a question in the chat whether the speed of the hash algorithm plays a big role in this. Yes, it does. I mean, as you can see, I got this data from the internet about 5 or 6 years ago. And 5 or 6 years ago, the hash algorithm MD5 was still a weak one, was already a weak one. And they have been using this to store their user's password. And if you take more complex hash algorithms, then the attack would take much longer. So MD5 is probably the fastest hashing algorithm you can get from the attacker's perspective.
So that shows that most of the people are still using the name and the birth date or something like that.
Some questions already? Or?
Are there any questions?
I have 2.
Hängt die Geschwindigkeit vom Hash-Algorithmus ab? Wenn ja, inwieweit? Und die sind MD5.
War ich gerade weg oder ich hatte das gerade auf Englisch erklärt, aber ich kann es auch gerne auf Deutsch nochmal erklären. Also der Hash-Algorithmus spielt eine große Rolle. Und vom Angreiferstandpunkt her ist MD5 das Schnellste, was man bekommen kann. Ne? Also vom Standpunkt des Angreifers her. Wenn man jetzt SHA-512 oder sowas nimmt, dann dauert die Berechnung tatsächlich deutlich länger. Und auf der anderen Seite zeigt es aber auch, es geht ja nicht nur darum, also jetzt zum Beispiel, wenn ich an Thomas Grügers Vortrag erinnere, da geht es ja letztendlich immer darum, was können wir selber für unsere Daten tun? Also wie verhalten wir uns sicher? Aber auf der anderen Seite müssen natürlich auch die Service Provider sich die Frage stellen, wie gewährleisten wir sichere Services? Und MD5 war selbst vor 5 oder 6 Jahren schon gebrochen. Und trotzdem wurde das verwendet, um die Passwörter von den Benutzern von einem bezahlten Internetdienst zu sichern, in Anführungszeichen.
Okay, ansonsten habe ich keine Fragen. I don't have any questions so far.
I have two.
Dr. Wurzer has 2 questions.
Yeah, but maybe we can spread it. And the first question is, what do you think about using phrases? That there are long phrases. Maybe it's more difficult to hack them. Although it's easier to remind. So meine Frage ist, wie verhält es sich mit längeren Phrasen? Die sind möglicherweise schwieriger zu entschlüsseln oder zu hacken, aber einfacher zu merken.
Ja, danke, Herr Wurzer, für die Überleitung. Das war nämlich genau das, was ich als nächstes sagen wollte. Und zwar, ich finde Randall Munroe, also ich weiß nicht, wer von euch XKCD kennt, also ich finde diese Comics immer wieder echt hervorragend. Und dieses Comic, was ihr jetzt seht, fasst diese Frage absolut hervorragend zusammen. Über die Jahre hat man den Leuten versucht beizubringen, einen möglichst großen, ihr seht nichts, das tut mir leid, Moment.
Also wir haben den Bildschirm gesehen, ne? We saw the screen, but maybe others not.
Do you see the screen now?
Ja.
Könnt ihr den Bildschirm sehen? Ja.
Okay, now they see it, okay.
Letztendlich über die Jahre hat man den Leuten immer erzählt, sie sollten sich möglichst komplexe Passwörter ausdenken mit einem möglichst großen Zeichenvorrat. Und diese Passwörter sind halt einfach, auf Deutsch gesagt, scheiße zu merken. Und es ist sehr viel einfacher, so wie Herr Wurzer das vorgeschlagen hat, wenn man sich wirklich ganze Sätze merkt. Ne? Also je länger, desto besser, je länger, desto sicherer. Und dann brauche ich auch weder einen so großen Zeichenvorrat, noch brauche ich mich da sonst irgendwie was verkünsteln. Und definitiv kann ich mir einen solchen Satz deutlich besser merken, als wenn ich mir irgendwie ein 12-stelliges Passwort mit Großbuchstaben, Kleinbuchstaben, Ziffern, Sonderzeichen überlege.
Klingt plausibel. Darf ich noch eine Frage stellen?
Bitte, bitte. Selbstverständlich.
Ich benutze zum Beispiel meistens selten ein Passwort zweimal, also auch für unterschiedliche Dienste. Dann stellt sich immer sofort die Frage, wie verwalte ich das? Und gibt es dafür eine Empfehlung? Also es gibt ja auch Passwortmanager, manche sind sogar online. Ich bezweifle, dass das Sinn macht. Vielleicht ist es da besser, eine verschlüsselte lokale Datenbank zu haben. Aber was für ein Risiko gehe ich damit ein mit diesem Passwortmanager? Und wo die Herausforderung besteht ja, wenn ich versuche, möglichst ein Passwort nicht mehrmals zu verwenden. Ist das der Gedankengang richtig?
Ja, soll ich das auf Deutsch oder auf Englisch beantworten?
Yeah, so my question, maybe in English, because I need to switch. So my question is, does it make sense? So if I use one password only once, the next question is how can I remember that, or how can I manage it? And there are some password managers, some are even online. I would say I would prefer an offline, local encrypted database for that. But maybe you have some better recommendations. Should I use only one password once, and how could I manage it?
My personal opinion is that you should always use one password just for one service. So never use a password twice or even more times. And I personally use a password manager that is called KeePass. And I'm really a huge fan of KeePass. And since I'm a Linux user, I've been using KeePass for years, and I've really taken a really close look at the source code of KeePass XC, and also for the KeePass DX, the Android version that is available on the F-Droid store. And in my opinion, I don't see any really cruel mistakes that have been made by using the programming. So from my point of view, the passwords are safe because they are stored in a AES encrypted file or database, and I don't see how you could access this file in an easy way if you don't have the password. I mean, if you use a trivial password for the database, then of course everything is. Then you can also use password 123 for all of your services. This would be just the same. But I personally use KeePass, and this is also the password manager I use on my Volla on my Volla phone.
Volla Phone, perfekt.
Also vielleicht noch ganz kurz, also ich verwende KeePass. KeePass gibt es im F-Droid Store, und KeePass ist für mich hervorragend. Ich habe mittlerweile sogar meine Frau so weit, dass sie auf ihrem MacBook KeePass verwendet. Und das Coole an KeePass ist halt auch, dass man die Datenbank zwischen verschiedenen Geräten und Betriebssystemen einfach kopieren kann. Das heißt also, man legt an seinem Rechner, legt man die Datenbank an, weil es halt einfach besser geht als über eine Touch-Tastatur am Smartphone. Und wenn man die Datenbank angelegt hat, kopiert man einfach die Datei auf sein Volla-Phone.
Very interesting.
Okay, no further questions so far. Also not in the community and not in the Telegram chat. So are there any more questions from our users here in conference? Gibt es noch Fragen hier im Meeting? Nein.
Okay, then I'll continue with the second demonstration.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And the second topic would be phishing. And I mean, I'm quite sure that all of you know what phishing is. And this is just a phishing example I got a couple of years ago. And this is, it is claimed that this is an email from Amazon. And I mean, phishing is just fraud. And the idea with phishing is you want the user to enter his credentials for real services on a fake website that the hacker controls. So the hacker gets access to this password and to the credentials of the user. And therefore, I mean, this is also like you need social engineering, because you have to find a good story that the user believes that makes him click on the link you provide using the email. But if you're, for example, look at this example, of course, if you look at the email address, this is not an Amazon email address. And if you look at the link where I would have been taken to enter my credentials for Amazon, this is definitely not an Amazon website. And here the story is, well, Mr. Asmuth, you've just ordered your Apple iPhone 7. People who know me know that I would never order an iPhone, never ever. And we just want to make sure, we are Amazon, and we just want to make sure you agree that your new iPhone is delivered to this address at Stuttgart. If you don't agree and you want to update the address, just click on the link we provided. And this was the story behind that. And yeah, just to give you another example, this is, as you can see, just from 2 weeks ago. This was a phishing attack at our university. And this is really an old story, because there have been security issues, or the limit of your mail account is coming to an end, and you have to log in and delete some of your emails so you can have access to your email account again. And just click here, and if you would click on that, I mean, I'm at the OTH Amberg-Weiden. This is our university, and this is definitely not a website at our university. And also, if you see the email claims, it was sent by Professor Harald Schmid, this CIO of our university. And of course, if you take a look at the email address, that's not his email address, of course. And because of the pandemic, I would like to stress that at the moment, of course, the pandemic gives you a lot of stories that you could use for phishing attacks, and that's why we see a lot of phishing attacks with that use the the COVID-19 pandemic as a topic for the phishing attacks. Like, for example, this one from the UK, because I mean, in the UK there is also like some relaxation for the citizens, and here it is some tax relaxations. And if you want to get a tax refund because you deserve it, because we have now this pandemic and everyone needs to keep his money, you can access your tax account if you click on this link. But I'm quite sure that none of the UK authorities has an email address at ddras.com. Probably not. And here's another one from Dr. This and That, some specialist from Wuhan virus laboratory, whatever. And so the pandemic is that bad, and if you want to know about the safety measures, just click on the link and it will open a PDF file so that you can have a look at these security measures or safety measures. And as you can see, this was from January last year, so this is right when the pandemic started, or even before we in Europe found out that this was really a pandemic. And as I said, I don't want to go into details because Thomas Gruger told you about this. But just one example, this is not really phishing, but what we also find is several fake COVID-19 apps that are out there. And some users install these fake COVID-19 apps, COVID-19 warning apps, that usually come from untrustworthy sources. So I absolutely agree with what Thomas Gruger said. Always only install apps from sources that are trustworthy, like for the Volla phone, for example, the F-Droid store or the Aurora store. But do not download any APG files and manually where you do not really know where they come from and install them on your Volla phone. Please don't do that. And as you can see here now, I mean, you know what COVID-19 warning app should do? Anyone an idea why this COVID-19 app should be allowed to make or manage phone calls? Not really, I think. So this is really bad. So let's get back to phishing, and I would like to show you how easy it is to launch a phishing campaign. And this is what I do in one of my lectures. And yeah, just to give you an idea of how easy it is to launch a phishing campaign. And in addition to that, also, yeah, you also need to process all the data from all the users. And I would like to give you an example. So
one question in the meantime: is it worse to click on the link, or is it worse to go even further if you like landing on the landing page and clicking on that? Like is clicking the link, like there are many people, they receive the email and they click the link and then they call somebody else, oh my gosh, I think it was not so good that I clicked it. Is the click the worst thing, or is what happens next the worst?
I will answer that question in the demonstration.
Okay, thank you.
So let's skip this. No, so this is a tool that I'm using, GoFish, which is a really nice piece of software that allows you to use a web interface to create your own phishing campaigns. What you need to have is, first of all, you need a sending profile. So you need some sort of email address that you are using for the attack. And for this particular attack, I'm claiming to be the president of our university. But as you can see, this email address, an.greifer, which means attacker in German, this is definitely not her email address. And of course, it's not even from our university. It's just GMX email address. This is the email I'm using to send the phishing emails. Of course, I need a group of targets, and in this particular case, I have entered one of my personal email addresses and my university email address. So there are just two emails, two recipients for this phishing campaign. So it's because this is just a lab environment, of course, and I do not want to make a real phishing attack, of course. So as I said, you need a story, and my story would be to get people who are working or studying at our university to enter their credentials for a service they are not expecting, where they should enter their university account. And I will show you the email template. So this is what I've come up with. And of course, I'm using HTML emails. I will show you what the email looks like in a second, so we don't have to go into details here. And now you, of course, need the landing page. And the landing page, let's choose netflix.com. So, and just to give you an idea how easy it is, I mean, if I go to the real, do you see the real Netflix website now? You can see netflix.com.de, and I just go to login. And this is the site I want to use as a landing page for my campaigns. So I just copy the URL, go back to my GoFish, and say import this real world website. And now you can see here, this is just a preview how this website will look like. I want to, of course, capture what the user enters, and I want to capture passwords. And what happens if the user has entered his credentials on the fake website? I want to forward him to the real login page. I will show you in a minute why I want to do that. So now that's all I need. And now I can launch a campaign. So I just say new campaign. By the way, I can also, maybe this is better for you to read this. I can say a new campaign, say Volla Community Days 2021. I want to use this email template. I want to use this landing page I just showed you. I have to enter the email address. This would be not a local email address, but a real world email address, if this was a real phishing campaign. I use a sending profile and select the targets and just say launch campaign. Are you sure? Launch. Okie dokie. So now just give me a second. So this is my email inbox, and this is the story for this phishing email, for this phishing campaign. I will give you a second to read it. And this, of course, is absolute nonsense. I hope you all agree. And it's really a really bad story. But it always depends who your targets are. And I really don't want to know how many of our students and my colleagues would click on that link because they think they would get Netflix for free. You always have to choose the story for the group of persons you want to attack. So, and now back to the question, what happens if I click on the link? Let's go back to the Ofish website. Here you can just see that the email have been sent. This is all, I can click refresh. This is all the attacker knows at that time. But the first thing is even before you click the link, let's get back to my email account. You can see here that I deliberately deactivated HTML emails because HTML is the same with websites. You can include images or stuff like that, but all these images or, for example, fonts, they are first the HTML document, which contains the main information, namely the email text, is forwarded or is you receive it in your inbox. And if it's an HTML email, then all the other elements like images or stuff like that are downloaded later from the internet when you open the email. And I deactivated that function. And so if I open this phishing email, the attacker does not really know. If I have this feature that I'm using HTML in full, now you can see there's a logo here. This logo was downloaded from the internet, and because I activated the HTML feature, the attacker now also knows that I opened the email, because in this email he included a so-called just one pixel, a picture that contains only one white pixel, and this one pixel image is downloaded from the server of the attacker. And if it is downloaded, then the attacker knows that the email has been opened and that there's a real person at the end of this email address. What happens if you click on the link? If I click on the link, it takes me to this is the fake website. And now it's up to you. What do you want me to enter for username and password? Just type it in the chat so I can use one of your suggestions. Yeah, I'll take this one. I'll take the first one. I'll use no samples. no spam, please. No spam, please as a username. And from Janos, I use the admin. You see, even this works. I use the admin as a password. And now I click on login. Of course, this doesn't work because it's a fake website. And after that, I'm forwarded to the real login page from Netflix. Let's see what it looks like in the GoFish, because if after I click the link, after I submitted data, the attacker, of course, knows. And here you can see this user has submitted data. So if I can just take a look here, and I can take a look at the data the user submitted. And here you can see this was the username, and this was the password he entered. And to make it even easier for the attacker, you do not have to go you do not have to visit the website login page manually. You can just click this button, replay credentials. Then it would use these credentials and would enter it on the original website. So the attacker would automatically be logged in, impersonating being that certain user. And that's all that is. That's all there is. That's for me, this is the easiest way I could show you how a phishing attack works and how easy it is to launch a phishing attack. So let's get back to the presentation, show you my final slide, and now I'm happy to answer your questions.
I would have a question right to the audience, and I would use the hand-raising function to just know who was affected or who got one of those phishing emails once. So raise your hand if you got one of those phishing emails, if you know what it is. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hands down again. Who never received one of those phishing emails?
That person probably doesn't have an email account.
Okay. Who was lying? No. Okay. 10 cents for this. Thank you. Dr. Wurzel, do you have a question?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for that very interesting and exciting presentation and demonstration. I love demonstrations to learn from it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I have some questions. I think it's also one comment. I think if you feel too safe, I think you run into a risk to be a victim of phishing attacks, because we all know the situation when we are in hurry and we don't read carefully emails. However, if we are forced to do some login, for sure, then that should be the situation when we reflect what we are doing. However, I think it can be that you don't see the phishing attack at the first moment. And sometimes also the email addresses as the sender are masked. Is that correct? So because some email programs are parsing the email address, and you just know something like Amazon support and you don't see the email address. So if you are suspicious where the email comes from, you can also see in the raw file of the email, and then you know more. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see a particular problem for smartphones, because depending on the email client you use on your smartphone. I mean, because of the size of the screen, the programmer always want to save space for the really important information. And I've seen email clients on smartphones where, for example, not even the sender's email address is depicted, but just the name in front you use in front of the email address. And so not even using the feature you just said and looking at the plain text email, you would just see the name, but the attacker decides about the name you will see in your email client, and the email client does not even show you the sender's email, which in this case would have been quite easy to spot that this is a phishing attack.
Yeah, even the standard email client of macOS is hiding the email address and just showing the parsed name.
But you can show it.
Yeah, you can show it. Yeah. But if you are in a hurry, you might don't do that.
Yeah. We have one question from Enigma. Enigma, please.
Yeah, this is a problem I had in the past with the email clients. For example, I guess in Gmail, the problem was that the sender can set any other address as a reply to address, and you get this reply to address as a default address you see above, and you have to dig deep into the email to find the actual address from which the email was sent to you. And that's, I guess, something that these companies that are making these clients have to consider, are like options like in, I guess, providers like ProtonMail, that these kind of embedded pictures inside the emails don't get loaded automatically, because as Professor Asmuth said, they can expose your IP address to people who are doing that. And I've also seen like an example, I'm not sure how many years before that was, but someone got just very inaccurate approximate geolocation of some Amazon customer, and I guess using that email, and then called the Amazon, and it was successful to trick them to reset the password of this person's account and bought things with his account. And it is, I guess it was a very interesting question from Janos that asked, is it really dangerous to click on the links or to give some information? I guess it is sometimes very dangerous to even click on the links, because they reveal some kind of information to the hacker, to the attacker, that you have no idea they are that important for you.
Yeah, I mean, for the average user, sometimes it's not obvious how many data we share every day. Because like thinking of privacy is one thing and security is one thing. I still remember one situation where, you know, those cards where you can get points like payback or any restaurant cards. I still remember a colleague of mine had a Subway card where you can collect points every Subway you eat, you get points, and once you reach 100 points, you can get one sub for free. So there was one time he got he went into his app to check the points because he wanted to get a Subway sandwich, and he saw that he was in London in a Subway store eating a sandwich. He was in Germany. So he contacted the support and they said, oh my gosh, yeah, please change your password directly. We see that your app just connected from Germany and it makes sense what you say, but and we will restore your points. No worries, but please change your password. And he said, okay, so that's done. And I was like, no, think of where did you have exact the same password, or where did you use the exact same email, or even the same combination of both in another system. Think of what also is connected to this app if you have like payment information inside of it. So many people do not know how much information is being shared within one platform.
Yeah, but
even
I would like to.
clicking a link and getting injected by some code, some mal code is also a big thing. That is why I was asking if it's if the technology is good enough to click a link on the email. I mean, it is obviously, but for most people, it's like clicking the link is really fast, and then they may think or may know or may recognize that it's not a trustworthy website where they are going to. But is it still too late then, or is it not too late? So, but I guess this answer is it depends, right?
It depends on the phishing campaign, but I would like to add that in my opinion, the Volla community are not that normal users that buy iPhones and want all these shiny iPhones blinking and whatever doing things. And I think the people who decide to buy a Volla phone, they are aware of privacy. They are more aware of privacy, and from the other users, like all these typical iPhone users, I would guess they would not even care if they exploit their personal data on the internet. They do not even care if they do so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are. I'm very impressed. Thank you very much for spending time. Maybe we have a little bit need more time, but I think it was worth for that exciting contribution. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to all the other talks, and take care, all of you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So speaking about the other talks, there's one talk left, I guess.
Yes, and Mr. Timmermans, are you online?
Yes.
Yeah, hello. Nice to hear you.
Hello. I'm only a bit nervous, that's all.
No problem.
It's my first time that I do something like that.
You have some amazing news. So you had that crowdfunding project to make progress on the Nbox side, running Nbox apps on the Volla phone.
Yes.
Ist to say the same in German. Sie hatten die Initiative ergriffen mit einem Crowdfunding, um die Nbox-Technologie auf dem Volla Phone mit Ubuntu Touch nach vorne zu bringen. Das würde ermöglichen, Android-Apps auf Ubuntu Touch auszuführen, wenn jemand davon privat oder für Studium oder beruflich das braucht. So I would like to hand over to you. What can you show us or tell us about Nbox?
Okay, so my name is Rudy Timmermans. I'm living in Belgium. I'm 50 years old. I have made a few apps for Ubuntu Touch like Sailbook and Tweet. But the reason why I was missing Nbox, let's say, was because in Belgium, the banks are moving away from websites and moving to Android or iOS apps. So they're, let's say, they're pushing people in some way to use these apps. And I become to the idea, I was waiting a long time and I was using the old Nbox, but it was buggy and it was not working very well. And I read in the Ubuntu Touch Telegram groups a lot of questions. When is Nbox coming? When is Nbox coming? And so on and so on. And I say to myself, why not try a crowdfunding to get this faster than now? Because people are already waiting for, let's say, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 2 years, and there is still nothing moving. And the core team of Ubuntu Touch has no time for it. So me and Steve, my friend, we decided to start a crowdfunding. And it was a big success. So first I was looking for a developer, of course, and I found someone in Russia It was a she, Alexandra, and she started with coding on Mbox. And after time, Erfan from which country? Tiran, I think. Yeah, Tiran was coming to the project, and also Luca helped us with the networking and so on. So I made Erfan become the main leader of the project, of the two developers that working with us. So and from then it was moving fast. In 2 weeks we had already an alpha running. Luca did the networking stuff. Alexandra, she is working on the screen blackout stuff, and Erfan was doing the other code on Mbox. So what we have now, I can show you a working example of it. It's still alpha because there are still a little bit bugs. We did last week a release of Mbox, but it was not completely ready because we found some networking problems on some devices, and we take it off for now. So sorry for all these people, but you need to wait a bit more. But we are doing everything what I can to. Erfan is doing, and Luca and Alexander is doing everything what they can to make it working for everyone, that it's stable, more than stable, and so on. So if everything goes good, I can show you Mbox. I'm gonna switch my view. Wait a second. Let's hope this is working. Okay. Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, so you see my Volla. Okay, good. I'm gonna try now to start Mbox. So in my case, I made an app for it that I don't have to do it in the terminal, the commands like run container and so on. So let's start it. Normally, I hope it's gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. So I need to restart my device. Sorry for that, but I need to restart my device because the app what I have been made is a little bit buggy, so it's not always working. So I need to restart my device first, then it should work because I tried it today more than once. So let's wait a bit.
No need to.
If there are any questions.
Yeah, maybe you can advise what's different in the approach you have chosen for the new Mbox, I say.
Well, the problem is because the old Mbox is more made for a PC, not for a mobile device. So the main developers of the normally Mbox, let's say, I talked with them and they don't want to work on mobile side. They say, listen, Rudy, we made Mbox for Linux PCs or a Mac, I don't know, but not for a mobile side. So we came to the idea that why we cannot make one that runs on the top of that use the Holland drivers and use a WLAN screen, that it's easy to make, to build, to develop, let's say, and that's also not gonna take 3 years to develop it. And that's how this project, let's say, become what it is now. I'm gonna try again. Let's switch. I'm gonna try again. Damn. Sorry for my bad English, but we don't use it here in Belgium. Hey, come on. Okay, he's online again. Okay, cancel. Let's switch the view. Okay. Everybody can see it again?
Yes.
Okay, let's try. Now, normally, yes, it's booting up. The white screen is the Wayland screen that you see, but this is an alpha stage. When it's more developed, nobody can see this anymore. So, okay, here it is. I'm gonna just try this away. So you see here, this is my bank app. I can show you it. I don't gonna log in, but I can show you it's working. Here we have the Belgian bank app. You see it has internet because otherwise the info is not there. It's Dutch, sorry. What we can do next. I have also micro G on it, but it's not completely unlocked because we have decided that we're gonna build 3 images. One image with micro G working, one image with G-apps working, and one image without it. So I can show you the self-check. Only is the spoof signature is not working, but everything else you see is working. What I mean with the image is the Android image itself, so the unbox image itself. We have Aurora Store is completely working. I log in with no account, just you know. It only takes a bit because of my Wi-Fi is using now. You see, everything is working. I can show you what everybody wants. WhatsApp. We're gonna now install it. Here we go. Yeah, everybody knows Aurora Store, normally. Most people. Installeren. Yeah, my device is into Dutch, sorry. Okay, it's there. WhatsApp is installed. You see, you get also notifications. You see here, that's also working. So WhatsApp, the latest version, it only complains that it don't have Google Play Store, the G services, but it's working. I don't have an account, so I cannot show you more, sorry. But this is the latest version of WhatsApp, and it's working perfect. What we have also, what I can show you is Telegram. This is working complete. Only this alpha has no audio yet. So let's say we go let's say we're gonna open the UbiPorts group. You see, and it has also notifications. Let's say we open Mark, your nickname, his account on Telegram. You see, it's also working, and it's not slowly. It's not how you say it. The screen is smooth. When you see, it's not like you see, it's gonna be very fast. It's not like the old unbox. What we have also here, F-Droid, also working. Only it takes a bit to load the images. Let's say we open a category. I don't know. Let's say we take that just for an example. You see, here are the images. So that's also working. What we have also, F-Droid, Aurora Store, camera is working. I'm gonna try that this is good. Yes, you see here my laptop. You see everything here. It's also working. Only camera recording is not working on this alpha, but it's fixed, Ervan fixed. And then you have also, let's say, instellingen, settings, Android settings. You have here, show you like this. You see on the top, RM64 device unbox. Only don't show the EMI, Android version is 10. So that's also working. Can I show you more? I don't know. WhatsApp I have shown. Maybe someone has an ID. A game maybe. Okay, let's try a game. I see in the shot. Blue. Many people are sending messages here. I'm gonna try. Yeah, Luca, you're correct. Bluetooth is not working because there is a problem because of the driver. It gives conflict with the Ubuntu Touch driver and when Unbox is trying to access it. So the only fix for that Ervan, the developer, told me is that we make in Ubuntu Touch some switch that we can completely shut down the Bluetooth driver in Ubuntu Touch and give the access to Unbox. And then the other way back. That's the only solution we have. Sorry for that, I cannot do more about it. A game, let's try. What a game I'm gonna try? We're gonna try Candy Brush. It's 80 megabytes, so it's big. Let's try. It's installing. It's downloading. Okay, normally it gonna work because I try a few games. Yes, open. We're gonna open it from here. Normally it should work. Yes, it's there. So here you see, it has even sound. Yes, excellent. I don't know. I'm gonna try to play it. I get that. I don't know how this game works, but I'm gonna try just to show. Something like that. How this works? Yeah, you see it. A game is working. Eh? I don't know how to play it. I'm not good in games. About Halium 7, it's not possible. So this Unbox only works from Halium 9 and above Halium 9, but not less than Halium 7. So I don't know if there's anything else someone like to know.
I would like to. I'm impressed and I'm very appreciate what you are doing. And when I compare it with my experience with the previous Unbox, I see two major improvements at least. One is that the camera is working. There are the apps that some people may need because they need to authorize themselves by a QR code or something. And therefore, it makes sense to have that camera working in Unbox, although you have a camera app in Ubuntu Touch. So this is a step ahead of the previous status. And the second improvement, I think, is that you're using a banking app. That was always a huge problem on Ubuntu Touch devices.
Indeed, yes.
So, and these are the examples why people say I need at least that 1 or 2 Android apps for my business or private life.
Indeed.
So, do I understand it correct? You make use in your new approach of the underlying Halium level, so that wasn't done before.
Indeed, this project it's a side project of Erfan. Erfan is ESI rooms, or how you say that, images. And Erfan found a way to build an unbox in an easy way, and that's why. Now what I want to say is, when we use this, it's also fast to update to Android 11. It's not that much work anymore. So it's not gonna take years again to build, to go to Android 11, to go to Android 12, and so on.
When do you think do we have a beta?
Erfan is working full time for us, so Luca he helps us also a lot. So it depends. When we fix the network, I'm gonna release a new alpha again to the public, me and Steve, and so let's hope as soon as the networking issue is fixed. But the strange thing is, on my device it works, and on some Volla devices it don't work. So it's very, very strange, and we don't know yet how it's come. Now Erfan disabled the networking on it, on the last release, let's say. But this is the first alpha version, so I don't update to the last one, because then if my network also broke, I cannot show you this here. So, but we try where Erfan is working, let's say 10 hours a day on it, as much as he can. And Alexandra is doing it. Everybody has his part. Now we need to see with Luca how we can fix the network issues. So that's the big problem now, the network.
So during summer, we might see a better version.
I think so.
Okay. One question.
But when we don't have a lot of problems with Wayland, it's before 2004. But when we see there are lots of crashing and stuff, normally it's not. But Erfan told me we need to see how it's evolving when we're updating the image and fixing stuff in Unbox, and if it's stable enough. Otherwise, we need to wait till 20.04 is released from new ports.
I see.
Okay.
It depends.
Professor Dr. Asmul has one question, please.
Yes.
I have to say that I'm neither an Android nor an Ubuntu Touch developer, so this might be an idiot question.
Okay.
For the Unbox, you're trying, or your goal is to build an Android within the Ubuntu Touch. Like,
Yep.
for example, you're running. I know that's not the same, but it's comparable, like running a virtual machine on your PC. Are there any projects or any ideas trying to run Android apps natively on the Ubuntu Touch without the complete Android system you are building with Unbox, so that it's
Oh, he's gone. I don't hear him anymore.
No, I'm finished. Thank you.
Oh, can you repeat the last word, because I don't get it.
I remember I've been using Sailfish OS a few years ago.
Yes, yeah. I know what you try to say. You mean Ali and Dalvik. Well, normally the main goal of this Unbox is to make it better than Ali and Dalvik on Sailfish OS. but we need to see how we can get there, because it's a lot of coding work to get it running like let's say Alien Dalvik. So it depends also on the budget, because we had a budget of €7,000 and people are still donating on it. Thank you for that. I forget it. But that's what we need to see, how far we can get to make it better and better and better, you see?
Yeah, thank you very much. And keep up the great work, because I really appreciate what you are doing.
Thank you, thank you. About the performance, for what I have seen, it's running very smooth. I see in the chat people ask from performance. I found it. I have also a Yola phone, an XA2 with Alien Dalvik on it, and when I compare it with Unbox this Alpha, it's running for me a little bit slower, but not let's say like the old Unbox. It's not that bad. It's a lot better. Anyone?
May I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Would it be possible to see something like the Unbox and the Ubuntu Touch, like synchronizing contacts in between or something like that? Because I think, for example, WhatsApp uses the phone's contacts to search people, so it could be really useful to see it automatically syncing the contacts between the Unbox instance and the real operating system, the Ubuntu Touch.
Well, that's something I was also think of, but I need to say till now I don't have talk about it with Erfan, the main coder of it, or with Luca, or with Alexandra. So we need to see how far we can go. So now the main goal is to make something working for everyone, something stable, and then after that we can see add more things. We did now the camera. WhatsApp is short, normally working. Okay, that's already a good start, because I see in all these Ubuntu Touch groups when it's Unbox, when it's WhatsApp, when we can run WhatsApp. I don't know how many times I see it. So that's something we need to see. I need to talk about that with Erfan, if this is possible or not, because I'm not that good coder like him. So we need to see.
Okay.
So there are always some ups and downs. I guess there was another hand by Enigma. Is that question already done?
Yeah, I wanted to ask because I also had this question about like an emulation, if you can integrate all the apps inside the OS, like have been said in Sailfish OS or in BlackBerry 10. I guess they also had an emulator for Android apps, but the problem was always at one point the performance and integration of apps in an environment that they are not made for. And the other problem, I guess should not be the case here, because you have a complete fully featured Android, virtual Android. The other problem is the energy problem, because you are running two different OSs on the same smartphone, and how is it going to affect the battery life?
The battery life, my device, I use Unbox every day, more than, let's say, 5-6 times a day to check my bank. And I can do it with it 2 days without no problem. But not many calls. Let's say 4 calls a day. So 2 days for me, no problem. It depends how you use it, I think. But
okay, so you mean like in a standby, it like
Yeah.
holds like 2 days of battery
Yeah.
charge.
When I now with this alpha, I cannot keep open unbox completely, so I shut it down. But with open it 4 times a day, I can use it for 2 days.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
So I don't know if it was from Furkan Kadame, or was it just a sentence to clarify something? Because he was asking or saying, same goes for notifications of WhatsApp, Android to host OS.
Normally, the notification of WhatsApp should also work, because the notification of Telegram I have tested, so I think WhatsApp should also work.
Okay.
But like I told, I don't have a WhatsApp account, so
Yeah.
sorry.
No need to say sorry for that. So are there any more questions from the audience, or in the chat, or in the Volla community Telegram group?
Maybe you can tell us a web page of the project so we can track the progress, and maybe you can rename or you can tell us the address where people can contribute to that project.
Okay, maybe I paste it
Just
in the
paste the address into the chat, maybe.
in the chat. Yeah, I was thinking of it. I'm gonna take it now.
And
If
I
you
will
have-
add the links to the YouTube description afterwards, so everyone can see it.
You mean the video?
Yeah, I mean, we are also live streaming to our YouTube channel, so I can put it.
Yeah, that was a video of Erfan.
Yeah.
He made it. Okay, wait a second. I need to sing in first. And my internet is not going fast now on the moment. Can I show this link? Okay. This is the link of the campaign. And now I'm gonna look for the video. My internet is slow, damn. Okay, it's open.
Oh.
And this is the link of the video.
Wir sollten ihn ausstecken. Okay. Now this big screen is making some strange noises behind us.
Yeah.
Will that be fine?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Lucas sent the GitHub repository in the chat. I
Yeah, and
forgot it.
also the address for contributing with money.
Yeah.
You have it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I have it. GoFundMe. That's the one. That's the one.
Okay. Perfect. So thank you so much also from my side. It was great to see some more developments inside of Ubuntu, and also like this Android in a Box project is really good and really interesting.
Mhm.
And we all see that we are just at the start of developing great things with a focus on privacy and with a focus on different operation systems and to approach something new. And you are a really good example of this community that is doing something and that is still starting some new stuff that we all appreciate. Thank you.
It's hard, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And it's take a lot of time. It's for me a full-time job already. So because you need to thank all these people that donate, you need to send them a message to thank you and all the stuff you need to follow up. I'm lucky that Steve is helping, because otherwise me alone, it was too much.
So you must be very happy that you also get one of those Volla stands.
Yes, indeed.
And I think our developer device is still in custom clarification, so that are the daily problems.
Yes.
So thank you very much, and I think it was a very interesting day with the morning and in the afternoon with that inspiring demonstrations.
Okay.
And thank you very much that you take time to present. For me, it's motivating to see that because, as I said this morning in our focus group, the outcome was that all the people in the interviews said that they need at least one Android app, so for their business or school or student studies. And we have currently 30% of our customers are ordering the Volla phone, and we have already thousands of users. And so it's also has an impact on the community that we have more and more users for Ubuntu Touch. And I think it's also more fun for the developers if they know that more and more people are using their apps. So thank you very much. And that's the end of this day. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We start at 10 and we have exciting presentations in the morning about some other alternative operation systems. And then in the afternoon, some practical stuff about the UBports installer and also community projects with the dual boot. And let's see what the outcome of the hackathon is.
Thank you also. Bye.
For being online, all the audience, and see us tomorrow, I would say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much to all the people in the YouTube stream, because this is the target audience that still needs to go to the Volla phone because they need to look more for their privacy. But anyways, yeah, thank you in the chat. Thank you for everyone that contributes. This one was the first day. It was well, we had some microphone issues in the beginning. Tomorrow we will start all over again with our wireless microphone system. But I guess you heard us quite good. And also thank you to all the speakers. And we will be there tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So.